A good evening to all of you high school football fans, and we welcome you into our Butler County High School Sports Report coverage of Week 1. We're back in the action here at Barnett Stadium, Chris Carter Field. The Kings Knights and the Middletown Middies. Joel Sackenheim, the good Dr. Dan Vogt here with us. And
Hello
Dan,
there, Joel. Yes.
welcome back to another year of great high school football coverage, sir.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you, we called this game last year, and it was Kings all the way. But their main running back, Ty Stilsky, he has moved on, so I think we might see a closer game this year.
Yes, Ty Stilsky, he absolutely stole the show last year in this matchup. We did call this here at Barnett's 34-13 final in favor of the Kings Knights. Dan, they're hoping to replace by committee, it sounds like, this year.
Yeah, we were talking with the coach before the game, and he said we're going to use Will Coker, the quarterback, a lot. Also, Jay Halyabetz and Max Sinella. So it's going to be like a triumvirate. 3 different players bringing up the running game for Kings.
We're going to see a lot of spread offense tonight. I would expect, a lot of RPOs, a lot of read option as you try to play a little bit of the old shuffle game, but out of the shotgun formation.
That is correct. And, that's what high school football seems to be. You don't see the wing T, Terry Malone era like you used to. I'm an old guy. I remember those days, but it's fun to watch. I'll say that.
The Kings Knights last year were undefeated until they ran into Winton Woods in the regional semifinals. 20-10 was that loss to the Winton Woods Warriors. But Kings has lost 15 graduating good seniors. We talked, as you said, to Coach Alex Garvin. He said they're optimistic about reloading. Hopefully it's a reload, not a rebuild. But they said it's more of an if than a when.
That's right. So by that, he really meant if the players come through like we think they were, we'll have a good season. So it's not when they come through, it's if they do, but he kind of winked at us and said he's pretty sure they're going to come through.
He likes what he's got. Now, speaking of spread offense and spread formation players in space, the Middletown Middies, Don Simpson is in his 4th year here at Middletown. He is thrilled to have an entire offseason, which he did not get last year. And if you remember last year when we were here,
right,
they were starting out week 1 in week 2.
That's right.
Week 3, actually, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was that little virus we seem to know about.
Yeah, there's
too often. If you turn, I'm waiting for the Virus News Network, the VNN.
VNN.
So anyway, I don't watch the news much anymore. I don't know why.
I don't blame you, but yeah, Middletown didn't start until week 3 last year.
That's right.
They were the GMC school that was the earliest to pull the plug and say we're not having football, and then this is the backdrop against, remember, the Big Ten and the Pac-12. We're going to not have football, and the SEC and ACC decided they were going to. And then
when the beloved Big Ten said they weren't going to have it, it just killed me. It broke my heart. And then good old Justin Fields, he lobbied, and now he's going to be a Bears stud quarterback this year.
Trevor Lawrence.
That's right. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Matt Vogt, Chicago Bears fan. I gave him props. Fields had a heck of a good first preseason game. So
there it is.
Little NFL there for you.
So the Middies.
Yes.
They said they like to have guys in space.
Right.
But they're also worried about discipline?
That's right. Well, their coach said they want them to play smart this year. So they have all the athletic ability in the world. They can spread it. They can fly. When they get open, they can go the distance. They were 1-6 last year, and I think they're going to do nothing but go up because they really can't go lower than that.
Well, it's all going to be what the old saying, and you hear this basically from every coach from now until the end of time.
Yeah.
If we avoid bad penalties, if we don't commit stupid turnovers,
right,
if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot and make the other team have to beat us.
That's right, Joel.
And that certainly was what we were hearing from Middletown's coaching staff when we were on the field.
Absolutely.
Coming into the game. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial as the Middies get ready to take the field. It's the Kings Knights and the Middletown Middies. Coming up next, Week 1 on the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Middletown Middies take the field with Lamont Chambers leading the charge, holding a gigantic-looking sledgehammer on a stick. I don't know what that means, but there's got to be some history to it.
Well, there is history to this game. We were looking on the field before the game, and we're going to discuss with you the uniforms. Looks like they're getting ready to kick off, though. Well, Middletown's not out there yet. We were wondering why Middletown was wearing white shirts with the purple pants. And
at home.
At home, that's correct. And the coach told us that there are distinguished alumni here from the past, and these are their throwback uniforms. So if anyone remembers what the Middies uniforms looked like in the 70s, and he said into the 80s, that's what they look like. I thought the helmet was rather interesting, Joel. You had the number on the side, and then on the other side, you had a guy flexing his right arm, showing off a bicep, and sticking his left arm up in the air as a really generic looking.
With an M on his chest. Maybe
with an M on his chest.
Well, Ryan Stilsky comes up, and we hope you enjoy it. We're off, and the ball is kicked into the end zone over the head of J.C. Calhoun. It's going to be a touchback, and the Middletown Middies in those throwback uniforms will begin the opening possession of the 21 football season at their own 20-yard line.
Well, just from that kickoff alone there, Joel, it went midway through the end zone on a fly. So I think Kings will be kicking field goals if they have to. It looks like the younger Stilsky, who's still here, the kicker, he was here last year.
He was. Ryan
he's
Stilsky,
got a leg, I'll tell you.
He was the grammatical exclamation point punctuation at the end of every Ty Stilsky score of last year. He is a senior, 5'8", 169 pounds, according to our rosters. So first down and 10 for the Middies as the quarterback Kellen Davis takes the field. Shotgun formations, trips receivers to the right. He's got a running back there with him. Looks like a 3-4 defense for the Kings Knights. It is a handoff to Chambers. Chambers tries to poke it outside, gets tripped up just a hair by Carson Caudell. Doesn't get all of them and eventually runs into the pile for about a 2-yard gain over by the left sideline.
Yeah, they were spread out, and Kings looked like they anticipated a run on that play. They were crowding up towards the line there, so not a very good gain for Middletown to start.
They're trying to get the edge on a play like that. Chambers is now lined up to the left side of the quarterback, Kellen Davis.
Three wide on the right.
That's correct. Blitz coming off the right side of the line is picked up. Throw by Davis is caught. A little button hook route into the hands of DeMarco Powell. Kings comes out of there with the ball, but the referees have blown the whistle and marked him down.
His forward progress was stopped. The ball did squirt out, and the Kings player did the right thing and took it all the way to the end zone, but, you know, it didn't really matter.
We're not going to hear a lot of whistles here in this press box. We're pretty well.
This is a hermetically sealed box, isn't it?
And it is a warm night outdoors and even
we would love to bust the window in front of us so we could hear a little better and get some air, but that's okay.
3rd down and 3 for the Middies. 2 receivers at each side of the formation. Once again, it's Davis and Chambers in the backfield. Again, a little button hook off
goodness.
Off of the hands of Jalen Dillard. Pops up into the air, into the waiting arms of the second receiver, DeMarco Powell, who wrangles the ball in, kind of fumbles it a little in his hand, but it never hit the ground, brings it in. It's going to be a 1st and 10 on a very uneasy play.
Yeah, that was Charlie Reeder on the tackle for Kings, and lucky break there for Middletown.
Hurry up offense, man in motion, 1st and 10 from their own 32. Here's the handoff to Chambers. Man coming in, and there is a grab in the backfield. He got the jersey and not the face mask.
That's right.
Luke Lynch on the tackle, penetrating very far deep into the backfield, shedded his block and brought Chambers to the turf for a loss of 5 yards on the play, maybe a 4-yard loss.
I'll tell you, it's nice to see a young guy like Luke Lynch do that. I mean, he looks like he might be a sophomore. He's small, and he read the play nicely.
Very generous spot for the side judge.
Oh,
He's
yes.
Actually going to give a 2-yard loss instead of a 4 or 5. So it's 2nd and 12 now at the 30-yard line for the Middletown Middies. Shotgun snap.
He's pressured.
Run. Flag thrown from behind and also from the umpire. That is Kellen Davis running through the guard tackle spot on the right side of the offensive line. He is wrapped up, Dan.
Oh, I didn't see who made the tackle. I was looking who had the penalty.
With penalty, okay.
I'm predicting holding here on Middletown, and I think it was Javon Davis. We'll see.
Number 51 there out there. And, yeah, that the hold was from behind the play. We'll see if Kings accepts this penalty. They probably will. And then,
Certainly.
yes, they are going to start marching this back. It's going to stay second down. In high school football, a reminder, penalties are from the spot of the penalty itself.
Right.
So this is going to be longer than a 10-yard penalty in practice.
Yeah,
because the hold happened about 5 yards in the backfield, and they're going to move it back from there.
It's about 2nd and 22 right now.
Middies have the ball at their own 17-yard line. Handoff to Chambers.
Tried to strip him.
Almost stripped him. That was number 90, Lawrence Flores, that tried to get it. Eventually, Chambers runs into the pile, and Lamond is tripped up finally, and forward progress stopped at the 25-yard line. Still a lot of meat left on this bone, though. It's going to be 3rd down and 17 for the Middies.
That was a nice play, though, to pick up 7 yards there in an obvious running play, I think. That was good.
This is going to be a little bit more makeable. 3rd and 17. There's still not a ton of plays in the playbook for this. I don't know what kind of arm Kellen Davis has trying to get downfield and how risky the Middies want to be at possibly risking an early turnover here.
We got a blitz.
Blitz coming. Thrown over the top of it. And Chambers caught it.
Nicely played.
Double dipped there by R.J. Jackson and Jake Cameron out in space. Good thing both of them wrapped him up for the Knights, because otherwise the entire right sideline was going to be wide open.
Absolutely. Good tackling there. Nice play call there with the blitz, and made him get rid of the ball a little early to a swing pass out to the right flat. And like Joel said, if those two gentlemen did not make the tackle there, it would have been 70-yard touchdown.
There was nobody else, because the blitzers were coming from that side. Here comes the punt for the Middies.
Nice high punt.
Calhoun, lots of hang time. Fair catch being signaled for and called by Jake Cameron. And so, one drive down. 8:43 left to go in the first quarter. It's the Middies and the Knights. Scoreless.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram.
Read option on the first play there, and Will Coker keeps the ball, runs it over to the left side, the short sideline. He's going to have a gain of about 8 or 9 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and short as he's love-topped out of bounds by the Middies. 2nd down and 1. Kings Knights moving quickly.
Kings are moving quickly. They do not wait for commercials.
They do not wait for commercials, and they don't wait a whole lot now. 2 men in motion, 3 men in motion, but they all have to set for at least a second before the snap. They do.
Yeah, this
They're
isn't the
good.
CFL.
Shotgun, and Coker hands the ball off. That handoff goes to Max Sinella, one of the 2 guys that's going to be replacing Ty Stilsky tonight and the rest of this season for the Knights. He's got enough for a 1st down as he runs out of bounds for a 3-yard gain. 1st down and 10 for Kings, wearing their home reds on the road, obviously.
Yes, my overall impression right now, if you look at the lines, Joel, Kings definitely has the size on Middletown. It looks like they're outweighing them 25 pounds across the line.
But that left tackle, Connor Purcell, number 77, he's listed at 330 pounds.
He's a monster, isn't he? What's he gonna be in college? That's the question.
See. Coker, quick pass out to the right side. Caught by Elijah Jones.
Wow.
That ball was almost intercepted
Trevon
there by
Bryant.
Jeremy Alvarez.
Yeah. Was it Bryant? Number
Bryant?
2?
Okay.
Yeah, Trevon Bryant was jumping it, and I thought it was going to be a pick. He was actually there before the ball got to the receiver, but somehow it went through his arms, and that's why I was going, I thought it was going to go 6 the other way for Middletown.
Fortunate break for Kings in the hurry up. 1st and 10 at the Middletown 30-yard line. Handoff up the middle to Sinella. He is tackled by Ronan Casanova.
What a name.
Smooth Casanova tackle for the Middies.
You old folks, the Bengals had a player named Tommy Casanova. Now, that's an old name, but I'm sure a few of you remember that name.
2nd down and 9 for the Kings Knights. Coker leads them out. 4 wide receivers to the right
side.
To the left side.
I'd say he's going to throw to the left. Now, I got a guy in motion.
3 down linemen for the Middies. 3-4 defense, it appears. Coker, blitz coming. Over the middle to wide receiver Andy Bauman. Bauman comes down with the catch for about a modest 4-yard gain. And it's going to be 3rd down and 6 for the Knights.
You know, you can see why this kind of offense is so effective. If you got a quarterback that's halfway accurate, you know, a 5-yard pass, uncovered receiver, I mean, that beats running the ball. I know when you throw 2 out of the things that can happen are bad, but that's Woody Hayes.
Yeah. Well, this is a bit of Chad Pennington ball being shown.
We
with a
got
little running play.
Quarterback sweep, and
Coker
he is
not gonna
rustled
get the edge.
down.
He's tackled by Majaden Lewis, otherwise known as JJ.
Yes, J.J. Lewis. They have 2 Lewises on the team. They have a J.J. Calhoun. We'll be probably calling his name later.
Oh, yeah.
He's a linebacker, and he's a senior.
That tackle was made for 4-yard loss in the backfield, so Kings has lost all the progress they've gained on this set of downs. It is 4th and 10 at the Middletown 30. This is the tweener area. If they don't want to run Ryan Stilsky out here for the field goal attempt,
I
5
know.
wides.
They don't want to try a 47-yard field goal.
Coker with 4 receivers to the right side of the formation.
Blitz by Middletown.
Throw is off. Contact down the field between the 2 number 11s. Andy Bauman was the Kings receiver out there. Gavin Thigpen was in coverage. The bodies got tangled. Incidental contact. Both went down to the turf. The ball flooded over the heads of both of them, and Middletown will take over.
And Gavin kind of turned around and looked at the official like, I didn't do it on purpose. I really didn't. And the official obliged him to not throw the penalty.
1st and 10 now for the Middletown Middies as the quarterback,
at
Kellen
the 30-yard
Davis,
line.
So, yeah, their own 30. And once again, they got Jalen Dillard now as the running back alongside of Davis in the backfield. Man in motion, handoff up the middle. That is to Dillon. Dillon's going to pummel his way forward into a pile for about 5 yards.
That's a nice gain.
It's a very nice gain. It's going to be 2nd and 5 for the Middies at their own 35-yard line. What are you seeing so far, Dan, in terms of Middletown making smart decisions, not hurting themselves?
They're playing well. They're making tackles. I mean, definitely an improvement over last year's team. I can see it.
Little off-season work helps everybody. And I
Absolutely.
know Simpson is very happy. Quarterback read option.
Nice.
Tuck and run.
Nice.
Kellen Davis wanted to hand that ball off. It was halfway into the belly of Dillard. In the last second, the defensive end jumped and bit on the running back. The quarterback, Davis, tucked the ball back away from the running back's belly, took it around the left side of the line, got 7 yards, and a 1st down for the Middies.
And Aiden Guckenberger on the tackle for Kings.
1st and 10 for Middletown at their own 42-yard line. Man in motion, trips receivers now to the right side of the formation.
Oh, we got a fumble. There's a flag there,
That's
Joel.
not a flag. That's a beanbag.
Oh,
and this is going to be
beanbag.
a touchdown for the Kings Knights.
Unbelievable.
That's going to be Luke Lynch.
Luke Lynch with the
a
touchdown.
34-yard fumble recovery and return.
I don't believe in jinxes, but we're saying they're playing smartly, and then they make a major faux pas there.
That was also a read option play. And
The ball, he kind of stuck the ball in his belly, and then he didn't let go, and the guy didn't grab it, and it just kind of fell between them.
I think the coaches call that the mesh point.
Okay.
It is the most difficult part of that read option when the quarterback makes that decision, and you got to decide one or the other. And if you end up in between, then as Dirk Allen would call it, the ball is on the ground.
We'll hear that a few times this year, that's for sure.
Over at Kumler.
That's
So we're
right.
going to have Ryan Stilsky on to kick the extra point for the Kings Knights. 5:23 remaining in the first quarter of play, and a defensive score breaks open the scoreboard tonight.
Here we
Snap, hold, kick is up, kick is through, 7-0 Kings, and we'll be right back.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And who knows, you may be the next featured face.
We welcome you back into Barnett's Field. The Kings Knights have taken a 7-0 lead on a 34-yard fumble return by Luke Lynch into the purple painted turf of Barnett's Stadium.
And as we were talking with Middletown's coach before the game, he said they need to play smart. They need to eliminate turnovers, mistakes, and lo and behold, first score off a turnover.
Out-of-town scoreboard, it looks like the Wilmington Hurricane has taken a 7-0 lead.
Just
on the
one?
Just one. A single Hurricane has taken the lead over the Ross Rams.
Okay.
7-0. 6 minutes left to go.
They're not the Ross Ram now. They're the Rams, right?
The Rams.
There
yes.
you go.
More
Okay.
than one Ram, but only one Hurricane in that competition.
Not to be confused with the Talwanda Brave, not the Braves.
Yeah, and that we don't know yet if that's an adjective describing all of the players or if that's just a single.
I think I think it's one honored Indian.
One honored Native American.
He's the brave,
he's
yes.
He's the one brave. That's
One
right.
guy. No, I think it's the adjective, don't you?
It could, it could very well be an adjective.
Okay,
It could.
all right.
It's hard to be an adjective. Stilsky's kickoff goes way over the head again of the return man J.C. Calhoun into the end zone.
I'm going to predict no returns for Middletown today.
Well, Stilsky's leg,
He's
it's
got
good.
a leg.
It's really, really good. Looks like Elder just took a 7-0 lead over Covington Catholic. Drew Ramsey punching his way to the end zone. Probably the brother of the Northwestern quarterback that just graduated.
That's right.
1st and 10 for Middletown. Ball on 20-yard line.
Jet sweep.
Jet sweep to the wide receiver, James Franklin, and Franklin is met in the backfield. The offensive line for Middletown is not really keeping Kings out of the backfield.
No, Kings is kind of busting through with abandon, wouldn't you say?
When you're trying to run the ball, whether it be up the middle, whether it be trying to run a jet sweep like that play to Franklin down the sideline, if your offensive line ends up 2 yards in the backfield, you're not going to have a lot of room to work. You'd like your line to be 2 yards forward from the line of scrimmage.
I agree.
2nd and 12 for Middletown now. And that is for Kellen Davis in the shotgun. Claps his hands, throws a little swing pass to the wide receiver. Franklin catches the ball, and he is stuck by Carson Caudell.
A
Good
senior.
tackle in open space.
Oh, absolutely. Well, he's a senior. He's made a few tackles in his career, and he wrapped him up nicely. Only, he got 2 yards there, so it's going to set up a 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9. 21-yard line for the Middies as we approach the 4-minute mark now of the first quarter here at Chris Carter Field, Barnett's Stadium. Good historic venue.
It is nice. It's old school.
From the 1950s, older than the throwback uniforms. Blitz coming. Davis works around it. Has a man deep.
Oh!
Defended. Pass was intended for DeMarco Powell. He was in man coverage about 30 yards down the field.
Nice play by Jake Cameron there on the defense. He was with them. Stride for stride. They both went up for the ball. It was kind of a jump ball.
Kind of the vaunted underthrown deep ball.
Yes.
And Cameron just turned his head around in time to get his paw on the football and knock it free.
His paw. I like that's a little John Madden there for you.
Boom!
Big old paw on that ball. Okay,
So
we're getting ready for a punt
Calhoun is
here.
going to punt the ball, 4th down and 9. It's not a turnover, right?
No.
John Fox would say
Oh.
not a bad thing, but in this
Terrible
case it actually
snap,
was.
Joel. We have a blocked punt, but it is matriculating down the field.
R.J. Jackson got there.
Yes.
I want to give him some credit for being there, but really the snap was egregiously bad to the point where it threw off the entire timing of the punt.
It turned out to be, Joel, after the block, only a 17-yard punt. So Kings is going to start this drive at the Middletown 38. So we could kind of call that a
37.
37, another yard.
Another yard.
So it was a bad snap. He had to leap up to get it, and by the time he brought it down, he got his punt deflected.
16-yard net on the punt. I think that goes as a partial block statistically.
Yes, another Middletown mistake is setting Kings up here.
No running backs for Coker. He's going to slap it over to the left side of the formation to the wide receiver in space, Max Sinella. He
That's
catches
right.
it and loses 2 yards because Middletown's defensive backs were ready.
Yes, it was almost like putting 3 receivers on the left and having those gentlemen block for the guy in back. So it's almost like a swing pass out to the side.
You're trying to do the arithmetic there and get a 4-on-3 type of matchup.
Right.
Didn't get the thing to work there in terms of the Kings Knights. Now they got Sinella in the backfield running a little out pattern. Coker's going to
He's
look
got
away
all
from
day.
him. He's looking left instead.
Oh.
Floats the pass just over the outstretched arms of Andy Bauman on the crossing route. Bauman was running out of real estate toward the left sideline, but he had room to get it in there. Just feathered it too high.
Yeah, Coker just missed the throw. He was definitely open, and he had all day to throw it. It's just a bad execution there.
That's where your coach probably looks at that play and circles it in the playbook and says, we're going to set this one up again later on in the third quarter of this game.
He was rolling left, and he's a right-handed thrower, and I always bring that up because you got to get your feet set or the ball can sail on you. A la Boomer Esiason back in the day.
Over in Claremont County, the West Claremont Wolves lead Hamilton Big Blue 14-8.
Big 3rd and 12 here, and they ironically run a draw up the middle, and they only got maybe 5 yards. There is a flag on the play, Joel.
That's right. Sinella was the ball carrier. They might have been trying to cross him up there or trying to set up a more manageable 4th down situation. I can't imagine they're going to want to punt the ball inside Middletown's 40-yard line. The flag is going to be on Kings, it looks like. Referees talking to the home sideline to Don Simpson.
What do you do here if you're Middletown, Joel? Are you going to take this penalty and push him back? I mean, they're certainly not going to try a 53-yard field goal.
They're out of field goal range, and
looks like they're going to decline
the penalty. So
yes.
It'll be about a 4-yard gain for the running back Sinella, and they're going to dare Kings to punt, and it looks like Kings is going to bring their punting unit on. They're at the 36-yard line, so if you get a touchback here, you're only going to gain 16 yards of field position.
Well, you know what I like in this situation, Joel?
Coffin corner.
The coffin corner. You got that right.
Well,
now,
Carson Caudell is going to try to coffin corner it.
That sounds like that Johnny Carson skit.
Carson Caudell, the punter. Return.
Oh, look at this.
James Franklin's a fake.
And Middletown.
It's not there.
Oh, we got a late flag.
There's a flag there. The up man, Andy Bauman, received that snap, tried to take it outside the right tackle. He was wrapped up immediately.
That was Jamon Wallace who wrapped him up.
But he comes up without wearing a helmet, and there's a flag on the field.
Okay.
And that makes me wonder if we have one of those face mask penalties that ends up taking the helmet off. That would be egregiously bad.
Personal foul. You got it, Joel. Face mask on Middletown.
And Don Simpson got the stop he needed and still didn't get the stop he needed.
Oh, my gosh. Middletown coaches are absolutely beside themselves.
What were they
here.
saying about penalties earlier?
Oh, my goodness. They're not playing smart football.
You make the stop. You read the fake punt.
They read it perfectly.
That was the hard part, is reading that defensively, and they saw it. They recognized it. They made the stop. They just happened to take the guy's helmet off as they tackled him.
And the penalty will make it a 1st down for Kings all the way down to the 25-yard line of Middletown. So they're knocking at the door. They're pretty much in field goal range now, I would say.
And just on the outskirts of the red zone.
That's right.
1st and 10, Kings Knights. Coker sends a man in motion. That's Elijah Jones, the man in motion. Sets up on the right side. He's got 2 runners either side.
RPO.
Keeps the ball on the read option.
He's running hard, Joel.
Makes a couple of tackles through the middle.
He's still going.
Up.
All the way down to the 10-yard line.
That was a tough run, Dan.
Oh, my goodness gracious. 14-yard run. Just when we were trying to wait for the play to be over, he kept going and going.
He read, again, the defensive end crashed on the running back. Very good read and recognition there for Will Coker, who kept the ball, took it right up the middle.
You can see why the coach told us Coker is going to do a lot of running this year. Exactly. He showed his power there.
Trips wide receivers to the left side of the formation. Handoff goes to Sinella. Sinella trying to be dragged down by the Minis. Steps into a pile of Middletown players. And finally brought down by Ronan Casanova there. Gain of about 5 yards.
Yeah, 5 yards, you can't argue with that.
They ran it to the short sideline.
Yes, they did.
Got a lot of room. They're on the right hash right now. No huddle as they're trying to keep this personnel package from Middletown on the field against the spread formation for the Knights. Coker, and now they do the college look over at the coaching staff, all the skill players, as the linemen still stay in their stances. Coker changes the play at the line, has Sinella next to him on the right side, and he's going to hand it off to Sinella.
Sinella's running hard.
Meets a couple of minis, tackled by J.J. Lewis, who loses his helmet and has a majestic mane of hair coming out of that fallen helmet, and it's going to be a 3rd down.
And since Lewis's helmet came off, he has to come off the field. And and that's
right.
That's not good because he's a senior linebacker, and they need him in here now.
Critical play here. 3rd and about 2.5 from the 4-yard line. Handoff once again.
Same play.
Sanella trying to punch it in. He's not going to make the goal line, but I believe he's going to have enough of the first down.
He does, and you know what? It looks like they're just going to – if I'm the coach, I run the same play because they're just gaining yards every time. Another hurry up, Joel.
It's working. And it looks like the down marker is reading 4.
Wow.
But the referees are talking to each other in the middle of the field here, standing over the ball. I think he's got enough yardage. They may call the chains out here.
Wait a minute. Now they're signaling he's about 2 foot short.
Okay. Not even a full yard short.
And you know what I do here, Joel?
I know what you do, but I don't
put
think
the
Kings
quarterback
has it in their
right
play.
behind the center, and I let him fall forward. And, of course, they're in the shotgun.
I don't think Kings has that in their playbook.
They need to have that.
Tight formation as all the wide receivers are coming.
Look at
he's
he's right. Oh, he did what I said.
Quarterback sneak. Danny Vogt called it. Is he in the end zone? Is the only
he's got to
question.
be. Give it to him.
And
touchdown.
It is a touchdown for the Kings Knights. A 2-yard quarterback sneak under center.
That's correct. Joel didn't think that was in their playbook, and I didn't know it was either, but they heard me, and they played it. Isn't
it
that great?
makes me a little bit nervous if you haven't practiced it, but maybe they've practiced it. I've not been at all the Kings practices, and Coker certainly lined up in the shotgun, then kind of came up like he was changing the play, went right under center, took the snap, and plotted straight up the middle.
Why run 4 yards when you only need 2 feet?
I love it. Ryan Stilsky now out for the point after attempt. Ball is snapped. Hold good. Kick up. Kick good. 14-0 Kings. 25 seconds left to go in the first quarter of play. I guess we'll keep it right here because we're going to have a commercial break coming up very, very shortly. Kings Knights. We've not told you about their uniforms yet. Danny?
No, Kings Knights, they kind of have I would say an Indianapolis Colts look with more of a Miami Redhawks number font. They are wearing their red. The reason Middletown is wearing their white, as we said earlier, it's throwback night. And you know what? Wearing white when it's 85 degrees out, the Miami Dolphins do that, Joel. Their first 4 or 5 games, they wear white at home.
Carolina Panthers do that.
Panthers do that also. That's right.
Typically September and October, although I'm told this year they're going to actually go to black in October for the first time in team history. So we'll see how that goes.
So Middletown is not sweating out there. They're just making mistakes.
Neither team, by the way, on their helmets has the same image on both sides.
That
Both
is
teams
interesting.
have a number on the left side of the helmet and a logo on the right side. For Kings, it's the Kings K.
That's right.
For Middletown, it is the Midi Man, as Danny described him earlier tonight.
Yes.
Stilsky's got it lined up to kick off. And this one's not going to be a touchback. It's going to fall about the 7-yard line right into the waiting arms of Jalen Dillard. Dillard's going to make a couple cuts. Through the middle,
nice
across
run.
the 30-yard line. He's going to get all the way to about the 32-yard line before King's special teams unit finally trips him up. It looks like it's Gavin Legault on the tackle. Nice French name, Legault. Legault.
Lego.
He Legos.
I wonder what toys he liked to play with when he was young.
I don't know.
Legos.
He Legoed the Ego on the tackle there the kickoff return. So it is 1st and 10 for the Middies.
I'll tell you what, Joel. This is a huge drive for Middletown. I mean, they're down 14-0. They need to get down, at least flip the field.
Yeah, field position is huge. Kings has played almost the entire first quarter at this side of the 50.
Absolutely.
Handoff up the middle.
Tripped up.
Jalen Dillard tripped up by the Knights. You see who get the tackle? I didn't catch it.
I'm waiting if he would turn sideways. Number 15, that would be Luke Lynch, a linebacker.
That's the guy who made the touchdown.
Yes, Luke's having a good game.
The clock is going to run on the running play, and that is going to be the end of the first quarter of play. Well, fumble recovery and a blocked punt, and here we are. The Kings Knights have a 14-0 lead at the end of one. Back in a second here at Barnett's Stadium.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Any rumor that's Joey Vogt playing guitar there? No.
He's playing Guitar Hero on hard mode, right?
That's it, yeah.
Danny, you asked. Here it is. Jack Walsh baiting Rams with looks like about a 10-yard touchdown run.
Okay.
They go for 2 instead of kick the extra point. It's no good. So Baden has a 6-0 lead on Mount Healthy.
Okay.
RV Crouch versus Nick Yorty.
Yes.
Best of friends as head coaches there in that game. Second down for the Middies starting out quarter number 2.
Little swing pass out in the left flat.
DeMarco Powell catches it.
Short gain for him. It is going to set up a makeable, though, third down, and I'd say maybe 5.
Knee hit the ground inbounds, which means the clock is going to run, even though it looked like it was an out-of-bounds play.
That's
knee
correct.
Must have hit in first. Powell's being covered by Jake Cameron out there. He's played a very nice first quarter, at least so far, for Kings defensively. Made a couple nice plays there.
Yes.
Kellen Davis has a 3rd down and 5 now. Middletown at their own 37-yard line here.
2 wideouts on each side, equally spread.
Davis has got the blitz coming.
Nice
Kings
pressure.
Sent one more guy than Middletown had blockers, and the linebacker Hunter Jones gets into the backfield. It could have been any of the Kings Knights. There were 6 guys going in after him and only 5 linemen to block. That happened to be the one that was left open. Davis could not get away.
You know, you do want your linebacker to be named Hunter. That's fantastic, isn't it?
I could see the Bears, the Chicago Bears, having a Hunter.
That's right. Okay, it looks like Middletown, if they get a decent punt off, they might be able to keep Kings on the other side of the 50-yard line this time.
That'd be nice. Kings has not run a lot of plays on their own side.
Nice kick.
Knuckleball punt.
Oh!
And this should be a flag, and it is. Kendrick Bell was trying to cover the punt. Jake Cameron did not exactly wave a fair catch, but kind of stood underneath the ball there. The ball ends up with Bell.
Boing.
Yeah. Bell and Cameron end up kind of facing each other close enough to breathe upon each other. They were not socially distanced on the play.
No, they weren't.
And
there might be a transmission of something there. They were very close, weren't they?
It's a transmission of kick-catch interference. I think it's going to be a transmission of 15 yards.
Is that 15 in high school?
I believe it's 15 in high school.
Wow, that's a huge mistake. That's going to put them all the way up to the 50-yard line if that's the case.
That ball hit Kendrick Bell about the 35-yard line and then bounced back a few yards.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if they march this off from the spot where it hit Bell as the kick-catch interference penalty, or if they actually let the down where it was downed. Referees have not marched it off yet.
They're having a little conference.
It's going to be, I believe, a 15-yard penalty, but where's it going to come from? Where will they start marching it off from?
They're all standing at the 35 with the conference, so I'm going to say they're marching it from there.
The 35 is where Bell and Cameron were standing right next to each other.
They're still standing there.
And that is the spot of the penalty. Once it hits Bell, is it down there?
He's marching.
So they're marching off.
Looks like it's going to go to the 50, just like we thought.
15-yard penalty, and so Kings is going to start right at the 50-yard line.
So a Middletown mistake negated that good field position they would have had.
Well, this is what we were hearing before the game. We've got now a fumble return for a touchdown. We've got a blocked punt. And now we've got this kick-catch interference penalty.
Nice defense by
Good
Middletown.
Tackle. The handoff was to Sinella. The tackle was made in the backfield by J.J. Lewis with the majestic hair. He grabbed the backside of Sinella and just basically rode him to the ground.
He lost 2 on that play.
Here's a big game.
Yes.
Winton Woods leads Trotwood Madison 7-0 tonight. How that for 2 powerhouses decided to schedule each other in the non-conference?
Now, didn't Trotwood beat Baden in the playoffs a few years back?
Yes, they did a couple years ago.
Okay.
That's right. Handoff. This is not Sinella. This is going to be, it looks like, Halyabets. We've not called his name much tonight. He's now spelling Sinella in the backfield. Halyabets takes the handoff, goes off the right tackle, meets the middle of the Middletown defense.
And that was Ronan Casanova. I like to say that name. Ronan.
Only about 1 yard for Kings there. It's going to be third down, about 11 and a half.
All
for
right.
the Kings Knights. Middletown is in good shape here, Dan?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to stop him here.
Looks like we have 3 receivers to the left side of the formation now. We'll see if they roll out to the left.
He's looking left.
Straight drop back. It's a screen pass, and it's not open. It's a throwaway.
Nice play by Middletown.
And there's a flag that is thrown at the end of the play, all the way on the back side of the play.
What do you think, Joel? You think they're going to call that as a you think it's defensive holding, or you think it's
well, the problem here
grounding
for Middletown is that the flag is thrown into Middletown's secondary.
Right.
If it was grounding, you would think that it would come in the backfield of Kings.
You would.
It's an ineligible downfield on the Kings Knights, which is completely understandable because when you call a screen pass, that thing is a timing play.
That's right.
Your linemen slip out after they let them through. They're supposed to get up the field, but the ball's got to be thrown before those linemen go more than a yard or 2 down the field.
Yeah, and Middletown did the smart thing there. They declined it. So it looks like when all's said and done, Kings are going to punt here, and I'm going to say Middletown will start the ball after the punt between the 20 and 30-yard line.
James Franklin is back for the Middies to return the punt. This is the best return opportunity that Middletown has had all game long, as Carson Caudell lines up in the backfield as the punter on the play. Andy Bauman is the up man. He was on the one that ran the fake punt last time. He calls another gunner in for a little bit more max protect. Low snap, handled by Caudell.
Nice
blasted
kick.
Down the field, inside the 20-yard line. Franklin catches it around the 14-yard line.
Oh.
And apparently he caught a fair catch. He caught it in stride where he could have run with it. I didn't see the fair catch go up, but I was watching the flight of the ball.
It was a very innocent fair catch signal, but I think he was frustrated with himself because he definitely had running room there.
He hit the triangle button by accident. First
So-
and 10 for the Middies.
So it was a nice kick. It turns out to be a 35-yard punt with no return. So Middletown's all the way back now at their, 14-yard line, 13.
Looks like the 13. They're going to
Yeah.
mark him at the 13. That's where Franklin caught it. And so, again, you got a spread offense backed inside your own 20-yard line for Middletown. You made the defensive stop. Now
Yes.
can you string together some offense? That's been an issue tonight for Middletown. They've not been able to keep the offense on the field, and that's going to be a false start if the referee saw it.
He didn't.
He didn't see it. No handoff. Quarterback Davis takes it straight up the middle. And the lineman may have decided, the referee lineman may have decided that was a man in motion type of situation as the wideout kind of stumbled there.
I don't know how Kings has got film on Middletown, but Aiden Guckenberger there, the defensive back, he was right at the line just wanting to blitz, and it is almost like he knew the play was coming towards him. Interesting.
Second down and about 6 for the Middies as Franklin goes in motion. Davis takes a snap, swings it to Franklin, who gets a bit of alligator arms as he was breathed on by R.J. Jackson coming in
Joel,
really
you
hard.
stole my line. I was going to do the alligator arms. Yes, R.J. was there, and unfortunately, it looks like the Middie is hurt.
Yeah, Franklin was the wide receiver intended on the play. He was running from the left side of the formation to the right side, pre-snap motion. He was the one who's supposed to catch the swing pass out there in the flat. The contact was not full. It was not a dead-on square contact. It was hard, but it was a little bit off kilter, and that kind of made Franklin hit the turf a little bit awkwardly. And he is still lying down there on the ground. And so we will go ahead and take a break as the medical staff attends to James Franklin on the field. Second quarter, 8:15 remaining here at Barnett Stadium. The Kings Knights 14, Middletown Middies 0.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And who knows, you may be the next featured face.
Back at Barnett Stadium, it is 14-0 Kings Knights. It is a 3rd down and 6 after the incomplete pass intended for Franklin.
Big play for Middletown here. They don't want to punt from inside their own 10-yard line.
That would not be good, especially the way that the snapping game has been going tonight.
Oh, look at that.
Davis has come up upon the offensive line collapses.
Yes, a plethora of knights on the tackle with the most excited young man, number 97. He's a big kid.
Justin Berg.
Very appropriate. 5'10", 211 pounds. He looked like an anchor there.
The entire offensive line
Iceberg.
basically was caved in upon by the Kings' defensive pass rush, and they all met at the quarterback, Davis, who went down. 4th down and 11. This is punting from your own goal line here for J.C. Calhoun. Couple nervous moments here. Good snap, though. Kick is up. They got rid of it, and it's a nice kick.
Yes, it is. Very nice.
Cameron with the catch at the 50-yard line. Makes a little juke move.
Oh,
breaks
spin
a couple
move.
tackles and spins. He's up the
Oh,
sideline.
we have a
There is
flag.
a couple of flags
2
on the play.
flags.
He's finally drug out of bounds with the punter, and a 3rd flag comes in after he's already out of bounds.
And he picked up the flag and threw it a 4th time.
Just for emphasis.
So I don't see, Kings went out of bounds all the way down at the Middletown 20, but with the
They're not gonna
flags
get that.
flying, no. When all's said and done, I think Kings will have the ball maybe, what do you think, their 45-yard line?
Well, actually, look where the flags are on the field, Danny. 2 flags are in the 41-yard line, and one is on the 34-yard line.
Okay.
It makes me think that there's probably 2 penalties on this play.
Sure.
Both blocking the backs or holds, and Middletown's probably going to accept the one that is from the 41 and move them backwards 10 yards. I'll bet you this starting spot's going to be about Kings' own 49-yard line.
All right.
We'll see if I'm right. Personal foul.
Ooh.
Make it the 44-yard line then. That's going to be a personal foul chop block on Kings. That's a 15-yard penalty, not a 10. So mark it from the 41-yard line. Kings should have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 44.
So Middletown should feel pretty fortunate punting from their own goal line and having Kings start all the way back at their own 44-yard line. So
it's funny. If you look at the flags, if you look at the beanbags, it'll tell you everything you need to know.
That's right.
And that's why the referee, after throwing the flag, the second one, went back and threw it a second time. He threw it back to the same 41-yard line and say, I saw the same penalty, and it was there at the 41. 1st and 10, Kings Knights. Roll out to the right.
Oh!
Intercepted by Jeremy Alvarez.
Oh,
that was a
goodness.
very dangerous pass to Jay Halyabetz, making a little breaking pattern out to the right flat, and it was undercut by Alvarez. Ball goes off his hands, deflected, incomplete, but not the pick 6 that he might have had.
Oh, and what a play that would have been from Middletown there. Oh, it was right. It was right in his hands.
They needed it.
That's why he's a defensive back and not a wide receiver.
That's
right
it.
there.
Our sister broadcast, by the way, it looks like Monroe is leading Talawanda 21-0.
Wow.
Monroe Hornets in Division III. They won a playoff game last year. They're trying to make some noise early this year against the brave young men from Oxford.
He's going deep.
Wobbly throw intended for Halyabetz and runs out of room as it overshoots him and ends up hitting out of bounds from Will Coker. That was a bit of a wobbler.
I'll tell you, Jeremy Alvarez once again on the coverage, and he got bit a little on the fake there, but then he made it up as the ball was sailing in the air maybe 40 yards down the field.
You wonder if that was a coaching adjustment by Kings. He undercut the route the first time.
Right.
You do the little sluggo, the little slant and go
Slant
type of thing.
and go.
To see if you can get it over the top, but Coker's throw wobbled out of bounds over the top of the head of the intended receiver, Halyabetz.
We got a 3rd and 10 here. This is a big play.
The running back is lined out way on the other hash mark, and they were possibly going to get it to him. Instead, the throw is to Bauman. It is caught.
Oh, what a
right
play.
there by the sideline. A beautiful catch. You had Alvarez and Dalen Moore Simpson both in coverage, and the ball fell right in between the two of them and right into the arms of waiting Andy Bauman.
Andy Bauman, yeah, the senior, 6'1". He has good size, 190. Beautiful play. Probably
1st and 10. Go ahead.
Probably the best play of the day for Kings.
We have a 1st and 10 for the Kings Knights, and the first time out of the game taken
by Middletown.
By the Middletown Middies, who want to regroup defensively. We'll take the timeout with them. Joel Sackenheim, Dan Vogt, pleased to have you with us on the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
scoreboard update. It looks like over in Mount Healthy, the Owls have punched in a touchdown.
Wow.
And so Mount Healthy leads Baton 7-6. They're in the second quarter now. Harvey Crouch.
That's a surprise for me.
Well, we'll see what happens. None of these teams have played a game in quite some time. So
that is true.
Kind of difficult to say who's going to be what. You don't really know. Elder looks like they're up 21-0 on Covcath. Hamilton Big Blue has just scored for a 60-yard touchdown, but they're still losing to the West Clermont Wolves 28-15 in the second quarter of that game. And it looks like St. Xavier's leading Lakota West 3-0. First and 10, 29-yard line going in for the Kings Knights. They are going from the left side to the right side of your computer screen if you were sitting in the home stands.
Or your radio dial.
Coker hands it off to Halyabets.
He's running hard, Joel.
He is. He got about 7-8 yards up the middle off of the left tackle, left guard hole.
That was Gabe Terrell on the tackle, the sophomore linebacker for Middletown.
It's going to be a second down and very manageable for Kings, who has to love their chances on this drive now that they completed that long pass to Bauman. The Kings Knights have 3 receivers to the right side of the formation. Looks like a 4-3 defense for Middletown. As they're trying to defend this, Bauman goes in motion, then comes back the other way. Coker is changing the protections at the line of scrimmage. He's moved Halyabets to his left side from his right as the running back. Watch for a handoff or a read option. It is a read option. Coker keeps it, and he is going to be able to get right to the 20-yard line, and that should be just enough for the first down.
And they're moving the chains. You're right, Joel. Wait a minute. Now they're not moving them.
Referees aren't completely sure here, and it looks like it is going to be a third down. Just short of the 20.
My
Here's your
goodness.
It's
again, inches. Dan. It's inches.
There it is. Coker under the center. Right up the middle.
Wow, he got 2 yards on that, Joel. That's great.
It's been there every time they've needed it so far tonight. First and 10 now for the Kings Knights as they are inside the red zone.
Attention, high school teams that use the spread. You need to get one play in your arsenal to get that quarterback right under the center on those third. I think the defense is surprised by it, actually.
It's not something you plan for a whole lot.
No.
And it certainly changes the rhythm a lot. And I always liked your theory all the way back in the Dave Worth era of Baton football.
Yes.
Why would you snap at 4 or 5 yards in the backfield when you need to only move a few inches forward?
That's correct.
5 receivers set as Bauman goes from the left side to the right side of the formation to line up at tight end. Second man in motion.
Jet sweep.
Handoff to Jake Cameron. He is
absolutely
wrapped up in the back right field. Jeremy Alvarez again.
Jeremy Alvarez, definitely the player of the game for Middletown right now.
He is everywhere.
He sniffed out that, and he just made a picture-perfect tackle. Hit him low under the knees, wrapped him up. Beautiful play.
Alvarez says thank you. That'll be a loss of 6 on the play. Second and 16 now. That changes things for the Kings Knights. They have a little bit of a protection throw across the body into the end zone.
Wide open.
He's got
Touchdown.
him. Jake Cameron gets the last laugh on Alvarez there. Says you can tackle me in the backfield the last play. I'm just going to run a pass pattern and show up in the end zone on the next play.
I think there had to be some broken coverage there, Joel. You don't have a guy 10 yards open like that.
Coker started to roll out to the left on the play.
Right.
Which normally means you're looking down the left side of the field because you're cutting the field in half and cutting your passing options. Coker then all of a sudden planted his feet, swiveled, drew his head to the middle.
Right.
And Jake Cameron got behind the safety in the middle of the play and was standing in the end zone, hit in stride on the play. Here comes the extra point. It's down. Stilsky's kick is up.
It's still perfect.
And it is beautiful, and it is 4:37 left to go in the second quarter of play. The Kings Knights have a hard-fought 21-0 lead. We'll be right back.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And who knows, you may be the next featured face.
sun just starting to set as we see a little bit of streak of golden sunshine popping off of some of those white puffy clouds in the sky, as well as some overcast ones that look a little bit full of some earlier rain.
Yes.
We got dumped on here earlier today.
Yeah, it was one of those Florida showers. It just, boom, 15 minutes, and then it was gone.
Courtesy of Governor DeSantis, right? Sends up the rain from Florida.
Now, Joel knows the governor of Florida, not because he's smart, because he lives there. He lived in Florida for 3 years.
I did, in Orlando and in Melbourne. And
he would call me in October, and he'd say, watching a game here, 81 degrees and shorts.
Bishop Moore High
And I'm going, it's 34 and rain and sleet. I am jealous, Joel.
I had the better end of that deal for 3 years in terms of weather goes, but I'll tell you what, I didn't have Dr. Dan Vogt sitting alongside of me at Bishop Moore Stadium.
No, but I would like to go to Florida.
Well, Chris Vogt, if you're listening, have us cover a Bishop Moore game sometime this year. We'll go down to Orlando. What do you say?
That sounds like a nice road trip.
Down to the Hornets Nest. Maybe they can call the Battle of College Park when they play Edgewater down there.
There you go.
It's a big rivalry there.
I did not know that.
Bishop Moore and Edgewater. They're basically within walking distance of each other. You could park at one high school.
The only Edgewater I know is Edgewater Raceway.
you could literally park at one high school's parking lot and walk to the other high school's stadium.
Oh, my goodness.
That's how close they are to each other right there in College Park.
That sounds like Ohio State, Michigan right there.
The teams are not out on the field right now.
No, they're not.
The referee is meeting with a couple of groundspeople, and they're pouring some water on the field turf in the right end zone.
You need to tell them that it's not going to grow. It's not going to grow.
Brondo, it's what field turf craves, right? Those that have seen
they're patching the field, Joel. Well, it looks like maybe we had some turf damage out there.
There we go.
They got it looks like they've some kind of adhesive they're spraying down on it to hold it down.
I would say they're getting it ready for a Lions-Panthers game, but I don't think either of our teams are going to find the end zone this year.
You definitely more than I.
We'll see if Sam Darnold can be the answer in Charlotte. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Christian McCaffrey at least will help out. Pride of
It's going to be weird watching the Lions this year and not having Stafford, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be strange. Matthew Stafford on the LA Rams.
Yes.
I'm really, really curious. As Poppy Levitar would say, see, I'm very intrigued. All right, it looks like whatever needed to be done in the east end zone has been perfectly settled by the official. He's fine. And so Stilsky has set the ball up on the tee now.
Kings is swaying their arms before the kick, kind of like Ohio State does.
They remember the Titans.
That's right.
It's a line drive kick, and it's going to go land about 8 yards deep in the end zone. It is a touchback.
So the coach made the nice adjustment there. He said, boot it out of the end zone. We don't want Middletown to start at the 33-yard line like they did last time.
Well, if Middletown wants to get athletes in space, a kickoff return is a good opportunity to do some of that. So
yes.
Stilsky was not going to let him have it there. 1st and 10 for the Middies at their own 20-yard line. We got 4:37 left to go.
Joel, does a trick play here by Middletown, does that smack of desperation? They're down 21-0, 4 minutes, 37 seconds and a half. Honestly, we don't want them to go 3 and out and let Kings have another chance to score. What do you do here?
Well, here's the hard thing about the trick play.
Yeah.
You're back in your own 20-yard line.
Right.
Normally, when you see trick plays being run, they get run around midfield, where you can take a risk and nothing bad is really going to happen too bad in terms of field position. That handoff goes up the middle, and it looks like it's a loss of a couple yards at best.
Yeah.
It looks like the running back, Jalen Dillard, took that and was brought down by the Kings defensive line. No yard gain. They're going to give him forward progress back out to the 20-yard line. It's very difficult to run a trick play here from your own 20.
Yeah, I know.
Your own goal line.
Well, I'm thinking more of a simple play, like a halfback pass or something.
Yeah. I don't know if they're running back can throw it or not. Davis can throw it. He throws a little quick flash pattern out to the side.
Now he breaks a tackle.
Kendrick Bell. He's got some room.
There's your athletes in space
it's a
right
foot
there.
Race. He's tackled inside the other 20-yard line. Finally bumped out of bounds at the very end of the play. Chased down. Aiden Guckenberger had a shot at him, but he wasn't the one that got the hit on him. It was the other guy. It looks like Ben Harris that finally made the final bump that got Bell out of bounds.
Nice play, basically breaking the tackle and running 70 yards with the play.
It was a little comeback pass, about 8 yards, quick to the right sideline. He caught it, dodged his man who was trying to make the interception, biting on the play. And yes, as you say, ran the ball for a long time. 1st and 10 middies at the 15-yard line, going in to the left side of your radio dial.
That's right.
And a flag on a hard count.
They followed.
It came from the umpire. This might be offside. No, it is false start.
It's a false start.
It is a false start.
You can't have a gorgeous 70-yard pass. You got to balance it out with a 5-yard false start.
65 officially the gain on the play. Make it 60 with the 5-yard penalty.
There you go.
1st and 15 for the middies now at the 20-yard line.
Now, if you're the middies here, I with clock management, I don't rush to the line here. The clock is stopped with the penalty, but a nice play action, maybe a pass here. They're probably going to run. Boy, Kings is keying on the run here. They are just daring them to run.
Kellen Davis fakes the snap. He and the skill players now look over at the coaching staff for a change of play. Down to 5 seconds on the play clock. Can't worry about that too much either. Snap is made. Toss sweep to the outside. Jalen Dillon trying to break around.
He got around it.
Got the edge. Inside the 10. Finally taken down by the Kings Knights around the 6-yard line. That was Carson Caudell, the punter / defensive back that made the tackle there on the play. It looks like it's going to be just short of the first down. Remember, they needed 15 yards.
We're seeing the athletes come out now. It's like they've awoken.
They've had 2 plays this drive where they've been able to get them out in space.
That's right.
And that's what Middletown wanted to do before the game. That's what they failed to do so far, but have been doing on this drive now.
2nd and 1.
Fake handoff.
Oh,
Dillon.
He's going to score.
Oh, easy
Touchdown.
tuck and run for Kellen Davis. That
Beautiful.
was a well-designed play call.
Beautiful.
Kellen Davis.
RPO. He held on to the ball this time, and he ran in easily.
Let me tell you the trickiest thing about that play, Dan.
What's that?
Middletown all game long has had the running back lined up directly beside the quarterback. That was the first time that the running back was like 2 yards behind, made it look like a lead ISO type of play, and then, of course, Davis tucked the ball and ran it off the left tackle, and he had all the room.
That's a good observation.
The entire defensive line caved on the running back Dillon there. Here comes the extra point.
It's
Zach
blocked.
Johnson is blocked. Cannot be returned in high school football. And so with 3:20 left to go in the second quarter, it is Kings 21, Middletown 6.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
We are back. It's 21-6 as Middletown has dented the scoreboard. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the half. What do you think of that, Joel? That was explosive, wasn't it?
That was what Middletown has been wanting to do all game and has not been able to do all game. 3 nice plays of 3 different athletes out in space.
And with the exception of the false start penalty, pretty much mistake-free there.
That's right. And even the false start penalty was overcome.
That's right.
By a good offensive play. They got them 14 yards and right back into position where they were within striking distance. Here comes the kickoff for Zach Johnson.
It's going to be returned
to the 10-yard line. That's Halubitz. Halubitz breaks a couple of tackles. He's going up the middle. He's crossed the 30-yard line. Makes it down to about the 33-yard line. I saw something come in that might have been a beanbag. It might have been a flag. Might have been a mouthpiece.
Middletown's coaches are lobbying for a fumble recovery.
If it's a beanbag, and it is a beanbag, that means the ball popped out.
That's right.
Let's see what the referees say here. The beanbag is laying at the 33, 32-yard line. And it looks like Kings recovered whatever
Kings
fumble
got
that
the fumble. Okay. That could have been a huge turnover for Kings.
The beanbags are orange. The flags are yellow. They look somewhat similar, but they definitely have different meanings.
It's nice to see the referee putting the ball down.
I was just noticing this. Oh, my gosh.
You were thinking that, too.
I was thinking it. Go finish the thought. You're right.
No, you finish it.
No,
That's okay.
you got it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
referee is setting the ball down. Remember last year at
The
all
center-
the games,
the
the center
cen-
was bringing the football back to the huddle.
Yeah, COVID transmission through a football was
football.
never demonstrated scientifically.
How little we knew about that virus last year.
Oh, my
The
goodness.
referee was using the orange beanbag to mark the spot where the center would need to place the ball when he broke the huddle last year.
Joel, you
Step
scare me. We
over.
think the same thing. We got a screen pass. It's well played.
And Sanella catches it, has some linemen out in front of him, rumbles his way, Mike Allstott
Rumbling,
style, for about
bumbling.
8 yards.
That
It's going
guy-
to be a second down and short.
Mike Allstott's a very good comparison for him. He is built like Mike Allstott.
He's kind of thick. He's not all that fast. He can kind of plow you over a little bit and just maneuver. Second down and 1, it looks like. Kings Knights now down to about 2.5 minutes left to go. They've got time to make this drive.
And they have all 3 of their timeouts left.
That very much helps.
Now they're taking their time.
All right, looks like a change of play at the line. This should probably be a running play. Handoff
To Allstott.
Sanella. Allstott. He rumbles for a yard.
And that's all he needs. Jinx.
What's the old saying? It was Leroy Horde back in the day that used to the plotting running back for Cleveland and Minnesota.
Oh, Leroy
He used to say
Horde.
if you need 3 or what is it? If you need a yard, I'll get you 3. If you need 5 yards, I'll get you 3. First and 10. 2 minutes here for the Kings Knights. They are at their own 42-yard line.
Down to 2 minutes. No two-minute warning.
in high school football.
He's going deep.
He's got the man-to-man coverage. It is
Nice
nearly intercepted.
defense.
Dalen Moore Simpson was the defensive back in coverage. The intended receiver was Nate Lyman, but Moore Simpson actually had a better angle at that ball than Lyman did.
Yes, he did. And if Moore Simpson had some decent hands, he could have had a pick there.
Would have been a tough catch. It would
It would
have
have
been
been
kind of
tough.
outstretched.
Yeah, I was a little hard on him there.
Definitely got his hands on the ball.
It was good coverage.
It was good
He did
coverage.
He did not bite. He stayed with his man stride for stride.
Well, and you get man-to-man coverage. It's really interesting because I think Middletown has a slight athletic advantage with their secondary guys as by comparison to Kings wide receivers. We have a timeout being taken by the Knights. We'll be right back. Interesting.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And who knows, you may be the next featured face.
Back here at Barnett Stadium, Kings has a second down and 9.
Kings has good crowd support. They've traveled well. I mean, Kings had a heck of a season last year, Joel. They got to the Sweet 16 in the playoffs.
Undefeated up until that point.
Won every game. Lost to Winton Woods in a close game.
Dan, you don't particularly love a timeout with the clock stopped in a hurry-up situation.
No, I
guess
don't.
They wanted to make sure they got the right play.
That's true.
They send Sanella in motion. Quick little pass over the middle. It is caught by Bauman. Quickly wrapped up before the first down marker by Gabe Terrell. First time we've called his name tonight. Very nice open field tackle there. They spread everybody to both sides. Dumped it over the middle. The clock will continue to run down to a minute and a half.
It's a 3rd and 4, Joel.
And they're right about at midfield. Crucial play here for Middletown's defense. Try to get off the field and get into halftime 21-6. If Kings can get a first down here, they got a shot to try to get into Stilsky's field goal range before the half. Rush coming. Escaped. Floated
Incomplete.
the pass. Nice little love hit there by Lamond Chambers. That was a bit of a fearful throw by Will Coker. I'm going to be quite honest there. His receiver, Elijah Jones, was out there in the flat. I think Coker's had a couple passes that were nearly pick sixes earlier in the game. He definitely floated that to make sure it couldn't be intercepted, and it ended up over the head of everybody.
Now, Middletown, interesting here, Joel. A minute 19. They have 2 timeouts. They're going to get the ball maybe at the 20 to 15-yard line after this punt, unless we have a good return. Maybe he won't fair catch it when he's got several people yards in front of him. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. It is James Franklin. Good to see him back on the field. He was injured earlier. Here's the kick by Caudell. Angles it toward Coffin Corner. Bounce. Rolls all the way back. Franklin is trying to pick it up still as it is 8 yards deep in the end zone. I don't know why you picked that up.
I think he was shielding the ball so they wouldn't down it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there.
He was trying to get his hockey stick out to make a play for icing, I think. Bring the ball all the way back to the other end of the field, right?
That's right.
What does Tammy say? It's not a hockey game?
Unless there's blood on the ice.
We love
That's
you,
my
Tammy
wife.
Vogt.
Yeah. My wife likes no sports at all except hockey. I don't understand it. I remember a few years back, the NHL playoffs were on, and they got beat in the ratings by a TV show called Build a Better Burger.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. It was the Stanley Cup Finals, actually.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
1st and 10, minute and change left for the Middies. We'll see how aggressively they want to play this or how conservatively they want to play this. Davis tucks it. He runs. Breaks through. It's not going to be enough for a first down. That's going to mean the clock is going to continue to run. The tackle was made around the 28-yard line by the Knights defense.
I think Middletown here, they don't want to make a mistake, and they're – okay, they are in a hurry up.
They are in the hurry up. We're down to 50 seconds. 2nd down and 2. If they can get a first down, the clock will stop, at least momentarily. Davis has nobody open.
He's going to run
tuck
again.
And run it. He crosses the 30-yard line.
And
that will be enough for a first down.
Now, that does stop the clock. Now, if I'm Middletown here, I go ahead and use one of the timeouts. We'll see. They're not, though. They're in a hurry up.
Well, the thing, I hate using a timeout on a first down on a stop clock, but I think that's exactly, Danny, what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to talk about this. We'll keep it right here. 41 seconds remaining here before halftime. Middletown Middies take their 2nd timeout.
So, Joel, what do we have planned for halftime? You want to discuss a little college football and the proposal
We
that might
can talk
be
a little
coming out?
college football at
Okay.
halftime. I think we can make that work.
Sounds good.
We got very few commercials this year, but one of them I know is sponsoring and is on this year for Chris and for us is Matandy Steel.
Okay,
so
very
we
good.
certainly want to give a shout out to Matandy Steel for their sponsorship.
Absolutely.
I know they sponsor a lot of Baden, and they're also sponsoring a lot of what we're doing here with the Butler County High School Sports Report. Have not seen a Baden update in a little bit. They were down 7-6 the last I saw. A couple other scores here. It looks like LaSalle is up 14-0 on Coleraine
Wow.
at halftime.
The Coleraine Cardinals are usually a power.
Yeah, but LaSalle, I guess, in Division II is as well. All right, the teams are back on the field. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Long way to go still for Middies. And a flag down. That's
They
going to
blew it dead.
It's going to be on Kings.
Okay.
Somebody jumped in the neutral zone, and it looks like number 58, Hunter Jones, actually tapping his own breastplate there, saying, guys, that was me. Sorry, that was me, dude. My bad.
So is that shouldn't have taken any time off the clock, right?
Right, no time should have
But
come up. They took a second off. I don't think any referee caught it.
They need to put that second back on
They
there.
should.
We'll see if that makes a difference.
All right, 1st and 5. Middletown's got the ball at their own 36-yard line. Snap to Davis. He's got protection now. Different
Oh,
called throw. I think the intended receiver was James Franklin. It was thrown a hair behind him off his left hand.
and J.C. Calhoun was right in front of him, and he could have caught the ball, Joel.
Yeah, it ended up actually being dropped by Calhoun, who had the second shot. That's the second time we've seen that out of Middletown, where a pass hits one receiver and ends up toward the hands of the other receiver today. This one not brought in, so it's going to stop the clock with 36 seconds left to go in the second quarter. 2nd down and 5. Middletown's got the ball still at their own 36.
One-on-one coverage down here on the – no, they're not looking that
Rolling
way.
the safety. They're rolling out the pocket to the right. Looking deep.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness gracious.
goodness.
I hope those kids are okay.
That was R.J. Jackson and Carson Caudell that both had eyes on that ball.
They totally collided into each other, and they hit so hard. It's probably the hardest hit we've seen tonight. Both kids got up.
Friendly fire. Kendrick Bell was the intended receiver there, and I think that was a misread by Kellen Davis. When he goes back in film study tomorrow, he will see that his shallow crossing route that was actually underneath that was wide open. Both the cornerback and the safety peeled off of the underman to cover Bell, the deep guy who had that 65-yard reception earlier this game. Ended up in double coverage. Ball ended up getting hit
third
by
and
both
5 here.
Kings Knights. Rolling to the left. Davis now running for his life. Makes a stiff arm. Can he get across
What
the
a
board?
run.
He
What
can.
a run.
Still running. Is he going to be able to get out of bounds? He is, and now a flag comes in at the end of the play. What heart for Kellen Davis. It looked like he was going to be sacked. Then it looked like he was going to be tackled for a 1-yard gain, which would have made him take their last time out or run the clock out. He ends up punching a couple stiff arms, bursted out from everybody, gets all the way over to the right sideline, right around midfield. But this flag is going to do something to probably bring it back.
I saw the official. He pointed towards Kings, though, Joel. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what we have. Do you think this might be a face mask?
I didn't see that.
Flag is about the 45-yard line. Kellen Davis went out of bounds around midfield. He's about 5 yards behind where he went out of bounds.
Okay.
The flag is past the first down line to gain. So if it's on Kings, it is definitely going to be a first down without a doubt. If it's on Middletown.
Face mask.
Face mask Middletown.
Oh, wow.
One of the blockers got a hold of a face mask out there in space. And it was behind the play, I believe. I think Kellen Davis would have been able to do the same thing without that face mask.
Hunter Jones, the linebacker on Kings, kind of, when they made the call, he kind of put his fist up in the air. I think Hunter Jones had his face mask pulled there.
He knew it.
He probably went up to the ref and said, look, he's jerking my face mask.
He appealed to justice, and he got justice. This is incidental. It is only a 5-yard penalty.
Okay, so they have 2 different face mask penalties in high school.
Yes, and because
Okay.
it was 6 yards upfield from the line to gain,
Right.
they're going to move it back 5 yards from that spot of the flag. So it's still a gain on the play. It's going to be third down still, but only 1 yard to go now. The clock stays stopped at 18 seconds left for the Middies, who still have one timeout. Handoff
Okay.
up the middle, get the sure thing, punches it out.
Oh, he's running.
Jalen Dillard. He's got some room. He's across midfield. He's across the 40-yard line. Finally tackled by the Kings Knights. A timeout is taken with 9 seconds left. The clock would have paused momentarily anyway, but Middies are going to take the timeout as it is with 9 seconds left to make darn good and sure that they get this play off. That was a wonderful run by Jalen Dillard.
Yes, it was. And I'll tell you, 9 seconds to go here. I wish I knew the Middletown kicker's range. Being the first game, it's kind of hard to know that. But, you know, a nice 15-yard out pattern, set yourself up for a field goal.
Well, Middletown may also be thinking about a pass up the middle.
Sure.
If they can get a first down here,
Right.
the clock will pause.
Right.
That'll allow them to run a no-huddle spike play.
Okay.
Should take another second or two off the clock.
Well, remember
have that
earlier in
option.
this drive when it was 41 seconds versus
And it
40,
cut down
that
to 40.
they
Yeah,
lost
you're right.
that second.
You're right.
That might come into play here because it would be nice if it was 10 seconds on that clock
That's right.
instead of 9.
Jack Walsh with another touchdown for the Baden Rams. Baden leads 20-7 now over Mount Healthy. 2
Okay.
minutes left to go in the second quarter of that game.
Walsh is having a good game.
He is. Davis takes the snap. Rush coming, throws
Throwing
it deep
deep. He's
over
up.
everybody's head.
Yes.
The intended receiver was J.C. Calhoun, the slot receiver. If you're a Madden player, he's the R1 button. It was thrown just slightly over top of the streak pattern. It was a 4 verticals, 5 verticals type of route there. It's one of the nice things about Madden football, Dan, is a lot of our younger fans out there know exactly what we're talking about when we describe this now.
And Chris, for you, that looked like Hartley Dykes running free down the middle for the the Phoenix Cardinals. Yes, the Phoenix Cardinals.
Here we go. It is 2nd and 10.
4 seconds to go in the half. I say Hail Mary coming up.
38-yard line, pressure's coming. Got to the quarterback, throws it deep.
And it's
over
incomplete.
the arms of DeMarco Powell and the defensive back. R.J. Jackson comes up with it on the bounce. There's another guy down. Looks like with a knee injury or a leg injury. That man, Jake Cameron, he's been important to the Kings Knights, and he is still rolling around down there in the end zone. Not a great result on the very last play of
He's
the
in
half
pain.
for the Kings Knights. He is definitely rolling around looking for some medical attention there. We hope he's all right. We'll find out if he ends up fit as a fiddle, ready to go again in the third quarter. All right, Dan, we have reached halftime. It is the Kings Knights 21, the Middletown Middies 6. We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And who knows, you may be the next featured face.
Halftime here at Barnes Stadium, a very good sign for the Kings Knights. Jake Cameron gets up out of the corner of the end zone. He is walking off on his own power. He's the last player still on the field.
He's a little gimpy, but knowing him, he's a player. He'll be back.
It's the right leg. You can tell a little bit, probably right around the knee. That's where he's gimpiest. All right, here we go. We got some scores to get to. Looks like with 1:45 left to go in the first half on WMOH. Looks like Moeller leads Lakota East 28-21. That's a very high-scoring game.
That's good.
For a GCL South versus GMC matchup. We also had 14-0 LaSalle leading Coleraine. And I think the last I saw, Lakota West was leading St. Xavier 7-3. They were getting close to halftime there. Baden Rams, they've got the lead, 20-7 over the Mount Healthy Owls. Nick Yorty was R.V. Crouch's old assistant coach over there at Mount Healthy, and now he's the head coach for Baden. Really neat that those two guys have found a way to schedule a game. They're both together in Division III. They could see each other again in the playoffs, entirely possible.
Sure.
Ross Rams back and forth with the Wilmington Hurricane. It is 20-17 in favor of Ross right now.
Now, I don't know much about Wilmington. Do you, Joel? You know a lot about a lot of schools.
They're in Division III, same size school as Baden and Ross, but they're in Region 11 with the Columbus area schools.
Yes.
They're far enough out there. So that is not a team that Ross could see in the playoffs possibly. Obviously, it would be a very nice win for them. Wilmington is a solid, slightly above average program. They used to be actually in the same conference as Little Miami and Ross back in the day.
And as a football fan, Wilmington is famous for what, Joel?
Oh, that was where the Bengals used to have training camp.
Yeah, I couldn't get one by you there, could I? Me and my friend Pat Linehan used to go down to Wilmington and watch the Bengals. And back then they had what was called a scrimmage. They actually had contact. They tackled. They played hard. So it was like watching free football. So we would always get there for the scrimmage. That was fun times. And Wilmington was so archaic, the Bengals, they would literally stay in Wilmington College, Joel, and they would bring their own air conditioners.
Are you serious?
Off their cars, their trucks, their SUVs. Well, they didn't have SUVs back then. Just cars and trucks. And they would bring their own air conditioners, big linemen holding air conditioners, wide receivers, pulling them in wagons. And they would literally put the air conditioners in the windows at Wilmington College because they didn't have AC.
Couple of scores of interest to Middletown fans listening in. Last night, Kettering Fairmont beat Archbishop Alter.
Wow.
The Alter Knights lose to Fairmont 16-7 at Roush Stadium. That's not a great sign for Alter this year.
Not at all.
Kettering Fairmont is in Middletown's region. The Middletown Middies are a Division I size school. They are not in the same region with all of the other 9 GMC schools. Like last year, they have been flexed up to Region 2 with all of the Toledo and Dayton area schools, the entire GWAC. So Kettering Fairmont would be one of those.
And it's important, Joel, that you might want to tell our listeners about the playoff system this year. Unlike COVID last year where everyone could get in, you just had to say you were going to get in. This year, it's back to normal almost. So what's different about it,
What's
Joel?
different about it is they've gone from 8 teams qualifying in the playoffs to 16 teams qualifying. So in Middletown's case, and in all of the Division I schools, Middletown has 18 teams in the region. They need to finish in the top 16 out of 18 teams to make it into the playoffs.
So Middletown could maybe win 2 or 3 games, and they're pretty much in the playoffs.
That's exactly right. You could start out really, really badly, and I'm saying that it's about Middletown specifically, but anybody.
Yeah.
You could start out badly. You could have an injury to your starting quarterback and lose your first 6 games and still have a shot to get hot the last month of the season.
So unlike the old days where you only had 2 or 4 teams back in the day, back in 80, 81, 82, now, my goodness, everyone gets a participation trophy, don't they?
A little bit more of it. It's a little different for the other divisions 2 through 7. The smaller school divisions have 25 to 29 teams per region.
So
a little more cutthroat.
Are the championship games going to be around Thanksgiving then? Seriously.
I believe we started a week earlier this year than we have in the past.
Okay.
August 20th tonight.
Right.
And so they're going to keep the state championship games where they were, I believe, the first weekend of December.
Okay.
Is the way the math is going to add up. We're just going to end up finishing the regular season a week earlier. We flexed it all backwards by a week that way rather than flexing it forward into basketball season.
Okay.
Halftime, Xenia leads Beaver Creek 20-7. Beaver Creek is one of those GWOC schools that Middletown will be competing against. Xenia is Division II, so that's a good score for Middletown if that happens to hold out. The score of the night that I'm looking for outside of the area, they have reached halftime up in Wapakoneta.
Okay.
Marion Local leads Wapak 13-0 at the half.
Okay.
Let me tell you why that game matters, not to the Middletown fans, but to Baden, to Ross, to Monroe, and to New Miami.
Okay.
Wapakoneta is Division III. They are in the same region with Baden, with Ross, and with Monroe.
Right.
Wapakoneta last year got blown up by COVID. They ended up canceling their final postseason playoff game against Baden because they had another COVID outbreak, and they never could get traction last year. The 7 full seasons before last year, Wapakoneta went 9-1 or better.
Wow.
6 of those 7 years. They are always favorites in the Western Buckeye League, and as a 9-1 or 10-0 team, they are always grabbing one of those top 4 seeds. Very important. You can have a chance to get 2 home games in the playoffs if you end up as a top 4 seed. Wapakoneta plays a 9-game conference schedule, which means they only have 1 shot tonight to get any kind of playoff points outside of the conference.
Gotcha.
The team they scheduled was Marion Local, who is leading them 13-0 right now. Marion Local is Division 7, the tiniest school division. They beat New Miami last year and knocked them out of the playoffs.
That's right.
Last year was the first time that Marion Local did not make it to the state championship game since 2010. 9 straight appearances in the state finals.
A dynasty of Division 7.
The Flyers, over the course of those last 10 years, have an overall record of 133 wins and 12 losses.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're now leading Wapakoneta 13-0 at Harmon Field up there in Redskinville. Wow.
Well, and they keep their coach. Unlike when Marty Schottenheimer got fired and he went 14-2. Remember that?
Oh, I do remember that. That was the shameful Troy Brown strip off the interception game with New England.
And he even told him before the game, if you intercept the ball, go to the ground.
Don't do all that dancing around the leaf, right?
Yes.
Also, halftime score for Division III people out of town. The London Red Raiders, who are not in Baden, Ross, and Monroe's region, are leading the St. Mary's Memorial Rough Riders 7-3.
Memorial Rough
St.
Riders.
Mary's Memorial.
Okay. I thought I
mascot
thought it was
was
St.
Memorial
I
Rough
thought they were
Riders?
Memorial Rough Riders. Yes.
From the movie Unforgiven, right? Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman there, yes. The Rough Riders are typically right behind Wapakoneta, nipping at their heels in the Western Buckeye League.
Aren't there 4 Rough Riders in the Canadian Football League?
There were 2.
2, that's right.
Saskatchewan and Ottawa. And when Ottawa came back in as a re-expansion team a few years ago, they were reintroduced not as the Rough Riders, but as the Red Blacks.
Oh, my.
How about that?
I'd go with the Rough Riders. I'm sorry.
2 Rough Riders in a league of only 9 teams.
Can't get enough Rough
I think
Riders.
Baltimore actually had a Canadian Football League team at one point in time in the 90s.
No way.
It was a one American team. Well, it's no different than the Toronto Blue Jays, I guess, playing in Major League Baseball against a bunch of American teams.
I did not know that.
At one point in time. I think they played at the old Memorial Stadium, actually.
Wow. What were they Memorial Rough Riders in
should have
Memorial
been.
Stadium?
They should have been Memorial Rough Riders. They absolutely should have. Well, Dan, college football is undergoing some changes.
Now, is this just an idea out there? Is this a done deal, or where are we at with this, Joel?
It's not official.
Okay.
It's not been confirmed yet.
Okay.
It sounds like it's a formality.
Okay.
Like it's going to happen. And it sounds like it's going to happen as early as 23.
Wow.
So we're at least going to have 2 more years of watching undefeated teams be voted out by a committee.
Yes.
But eventually, it sounds like college football is proposing a playoff system of 12 teams.
Okay.
And it sounds like they're going to have 6 conference champions get in.
Okay.
So that's enormous for a team like Cincinnati Bearcats, UCF, Boise State.
Members of the Athletic Conference.
The American Athletic.
Thank God they're athletics.
Exactly.
They could have been the American Flute Players Conference.
That would have been really bad.
Not good. Thank God they're athletic.
Yeah, the good bands are in the SWAC and the MEAC, right?
Absolutely.
You see them at First Four every year.
First Four.
Historically, black colleges have incredible marching bands. The
Incredible.
They're so good.
And that's something I'm going to look forward to next year.
First Four in Dayton.
Back in Dayton where it should be. Now, last year,
it was all in Indiana last year.
Yeah.
Yes. But back to college football.
Yes.
There will be 6 teams.
Okay.
That will be automatic bids if this passes. That means
Big Ten.
But here's the beautiful thing, though.
Okay.
They're not specifying that.
Okay.
You would think there's a Power 5 that they like to call themselves.
Right.
Well, and who knows if the Big 12 will even still be around by then with Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. That is still very much up in the air. But regardless, there is not an automatic bid. It is possible, mathematically, for an SEC champion to still be left out. It's not going to happen, of course, but it's possible.
They're
the way
the
that it's set
anointed
up.
conference, the SEC.
Same thing with Big 12. So Big 10, Pac-12, ACC.
Right.
It doesn't matter. 6 conference champions are going to get in if this passes. The top 4 seeds in this bracket will get first-round byes. That's what's being proposed. And the top 4 seeds will have to be conference champions.
Okay.
So if you do not win your conference, you cannot finish any higher than 5th.
So doing the math here for you people that do the seeds, it would be 1 through 4 get the bye,
Yes.
and 5 through 12 play each other.
First-round games 5-12, 6-11, 7-10, 8-9.
And then the winners of that opening round will play
1,
and be
2,
fed
3,
to the Wolves, who have had a week off to study. And is it going to be a bowls thing? Are they going to play in their home fields? Do you know that specifics?
The proposal that is being offered is that the first-round game of 5-12, 6-11, 7-10, 8-9 would be
Right.
in home stadiums, campus
Okay.
sites, and they would start then using neutral bowl sites, starting with the quarterfinals where the top 4 seeds play their first games.
Okay.
Notre Dame, at this
Right.
point in time, does not belong to a conference.
Right.
Notre Dame Fighting Irish at this point
They're
in time.
the NBC conference.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
They could not be anything higher than 5th.
Wow.
According to this proposal. Even if they are the only undefeated team, they have no conference, therefore they cannot be a conference champion.
Wow.
Which actually, I think actually makes some sense because they don't get to play in a conference championship game. Those other teams that are getting the bye already have to play an extra game also.
Well, they
So
risk
it kind of is
losing
fair.
that extra game.
It's kind of fair. You get an extra home game that you have to play one extra round as the 5 seed, but it'll work. Now, last year, if we were to have played this out last year,
Right.
you would have not only gotten the Cincinnati Bearcats in the playoff system, you also would have gotten Coastal Carolina.
Wow.
Because Oregon, who won the Pac-12, was
Right.
not ranked as high as undefeated Coastal Carolina, the mighty Chanticleers in Conway.
What is a
Myrtle Beach.
what is a Chanticleer?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It looks like a teal blue chicken. Is what it looks like if you look at their logo.
No wonder they kept them out of the playoffs.
I know they're in Myrtle Beach area, and I know they've got a teal field rather than the blue turf of Boise State. It is teal.
Who had that
Coastal
ugly
Carolina.
red field, Joel?
Eastern Washington.
Eastern Washington.
And Eastern Michigan has a gray field.
Chippewas.
That's Central Michigan.
My bad.
Eastern Michigan is the Eagles. They used to be the Hurons way back in the day.
If you could call in right now, Joel knows the nickname of all 256 college teams.
This
Did
is
you just
entirely too
memorize
many.
it? You memorized
Back
it.
when I was in high school.
In
you-
high
you-
school.
You make all the brackets on the wall, and for all
Yeah.
the conference tournaments, that means you're printing off logos of all of these teams. So you start getting to know them eventually the more you work with them. That's
That's
just kind of the
interesting.
way that it works. My goodness. But, yeah, this would be a great opportunity
Yes.
for a team like a UCF or a Boise State or a Bearcats or whoever. You should be able to get into the playoffs. You should be able to get your tail handed to you by Alabama.
Well,
But play your fight
UC's
strong.
playing Notre Dame this year, so let's see what UC can do. They're ranked number 10 right now.
That's
in the-
interesting.
Yes, they're 10th.
I happen to believe, now, I would be delighted if I was proven wrong.
Yes.
But they play not only Notre Dame, but they also play Indiana.
Okay.
Those are 2 potentially quality opponents. The only challenge is this, though.
Yes.
Notre Dame or Indiana would have to finish with exactly 9 or 10 wins for that to be a quality win for the Bearcats.
Okay.
If they finish at 11-1, they're going to get the spot above an undefeated UC, because every major power conference team that finishes with one loss always finishes ranked ahead of an undefeated non-Power 5 team.
I got you.
So if you're 11-1, you're out of luck. If you're 8-4 or worse, then Notre Dame or Indiana would be not a quality opponent. You know, they weren't that good. And so, therefore, UC has to have that schedule perfectly laid out with two opponents that finish with 9 or 10 wins in order to get any kind of consideration for this.
Speaking of Indiana, you know, they play Ohio State this year at Indiana. I always thought it would be a nice thing as a Buckeye fan to go to Indiana and get a ticket and watch that game. And thousands and thousands of Buckeyes, thousands of Buckeye fans do that every year. Well, I looked into it with a friend of mine, and the only way that you can get a Buckeye ticket to the Indiana game is if you buy a 3-pack of tickets.
Ha!
Isn't that great? Now,
Hoosiers are doing this well.
Yes, the Hoosiers are smart. So you're going to have to buy a ticket for UC in Indiana, Ohio State in Indiana, and Rutgers in Indiana. So I could see maybe if you bought
Rutgers?
Rutgers, yes. So
Wow.
So it's a 3-pack. So you can split it. You know, you got a Buckeye fan, you got a UC fan, but who's going to buy that Rutgers ticket?
Rutgers ticket.
That's going to be the $5 special.
Well, you know, that Rutgers ticket may actually have more value as firewood in some circles. I don't know. I mean,
well,
it's
anyone
not been a great addition to the Big Ten.
No, but they wanted the New York market, Joel. That's what they wanted. It's all about, New York market.
Oh, my goodness.
TV, it runs it.
Halftime, Centerville and Fairfield tied at 14.
Go Indians. Are they still the Indians?
They are still the Indians.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
You notice I called Wapakoneta. They are still the Redskins.
Wow.
That's their name.
Anderson is not the Redskins
Anderson
anymore.
has changed their name. They are now the Raptors.
Oh, give me a break.
You know what? That's the first Raptors in Ohio high school football. I think that's a pretty cool nickname. If you're not going to keep the Redskins, that's pretty cool,
Okay.
You got your own unique. Even as the Redskins, you were not the only Redskins out there.
So you're named after something that's extinct and no one's ever seen before. That's great. Ooh.
Oh my goodness! Well, you got two very fearsome ones down at Mount Healthy when the Rams and the Owls are fighting each other. Right? They're going to butt you with their horns, or they're going to cough up owl pellets on you. I think one or the other. We'll see what ends up happening in that game. It looks like right before halftime, Lakota West is now leading St. Xavier 14-10.
Okay.
Sycamore over Loveland 21-14 at halftime over there. GMC versus ECC. Loveland is in Kings' conference. They would love to see Loveland be able to pull that one out. Looks like here's a score.
Okay.
Oak Hills, who has not won a game. Gosh, it's been a while.
Okay.
They are tied at halftime, 7-7, with the Turpin Spartans.
Oh my goodness!
Turpin
really
is normally one of the better teams in the ECC with Kings there.
Absolutely,
That's a really interesting score, and I don't know what to make of that. Oak Hills and Turpin tied 7 apiece.
Maybe Turpin's quarterback got injured in the first series. Maybe you just don't know.
Looks like at halftime, the Milford Eagles lead Edgewood 28-7.
Okay.
Not great news for the Cougars. Milford is in Division I. Looks like Miamisburg and West Carrollton are 7 apiece.
The Pirates, West Carrollton.
That's right. That would be a bit of an upset if West Carrollton could pull that one off over the Vikings of Miamisburg. Why we even say that one here, Miamisburg is one of those GWAC teams that is in Middletown's region.
There you go.
A West Carrollton win, West Carrollton is Division II, that would pull those points away from Middletown's region and make it easier for them.
In case you're just tuning in and you haven't heard Joel speak much, he is the computer points expert of Southwest Ohio. I'll give Joe Idle Central Ohio.
Oh, Joe Idle is the man. I talk to him almost every week.
Yes.
He is the man in the know. I only wish I were as good as he is.
And if you type in Joe Idle, that's JoeEitel.com, that's how you can follow the computer rankings all year long. And it's a great website because you can go back and look at a 2009 season.
He's got it historically all the way back to 2000.
All the way back to 2000. So you can see, how your favorite team did all those years ago.
You can see how your least favorite team did all those years ago, too. I hate those guys. How'd they do back in 2003?
That's right.
It's got it all listed by playoff region, so you can see who all you're competing against. You can click on each team there, and it'll show you their entire schedule and who they're playing.
You can even see the growth of the school. It went from a Division II to a Division III school, back to a 2,
That's true.
Back to a 3. Baden flickered back and forth in divisions for a while.
They've been around. They have absolutely been around. They're up in Division III now because of the competitive balance thing that the OHSAA is trying to do.
Okay.
That, for kids that are outside of your school district that come in, it's a way of trying to make the Catholic schools, private schools, competing against the public schools on a more level playing field. A public school like a Kings or like a Middletown can't really draw kids from outside of their area.
Right.
But a St. Xavier can.
No doubt.
A Baden can.
Yeah.
And Baden actually gets bit harder than about any other team in the state on that rule because Baden has to declare one public school district as their home district. So in declaring Hamilton City Schools as their school district, that means that every Sacred Heart kid and every Queen of Peace kid actually counts against them as a transfer student out of district for purposes of that. Now, they can only be pulled up one division.
But Hamilton and Fairfield is the same thing, pretty much.
Well,
being a Hamilton boy and living in Fairfield now, it's the same city.
As we've discovered with the COVID regulations, you can set a bylaw, you can set a rule. You don't really know the unintended consequences and how it's going to play out to hurt
Mercy.
And help certain. So, all right, Middletown is lining up to kick off. Kings is not on the field. And
there's still a minute
and a half left on the clock.
I'll tell you. Okay, Kings is coming out now. There's still a minute and 22. These kids just want to play.
They do. They're ready.
They're going to stand there and look at the football for a minute and 19 seconds.
Absolutely itching for stuff.
They're ready to hit somebody.
Halftime at the Hawks Nest, Lakota East. The Moeller Crusaders lead Lakota East 28-21.
Okay.
Interesting, the GMC Sports Twitter has them just as Lakota. I would think the GMC Sports would
know.
Hey,
Joel, it looks like they reset the scoreboard to we're going to have the kickoff right now.
All right. Here we go. So Middletown is kicking off to start the third quarter, and we are off. Line drive kick into the hands of Halubetz. Halubetz goes right, then cuts left, in between a couple of middies, and finally gets roped down like a cattle around the 26-yard line. That is where Kings will begin their second half of play. Interesting to see if Middletown grabs the mighty the momentum here in the third quarter. Down 21-0, and then boom, 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 3 great plays. Missed the extra point. That was painful. Cole Rain. Okay, Cole Rain. Scores on the opening kickoff of the second half. It's now 14-7, LaSalle. Okay. And at halftime, up at Glass Stadium, Chaminade Julienne leads Troy 21-13. Obviously, the GCL teams would love to see their compadre win and get a few more points over into Region 12. Okay, first play here from scrimmage for Kings. Off tackle run. We got gain of 3. Second down and 7 after the handoff goes to the running back. That was Max Sinella. Kings would they got a 2-score lead here. It's never too early to start thinking about churning the clock a little bit. No, it's not. If you can keep the ball and keep Middletown's defense off the field, you can try to wear them down with that offensive line. 3 defensive linemen lining up with a couple of blitzing linebackers potentially for Middletown. 3-4 defense. Now they're sliding over as a man goes in motion. Quarterback Coker takes the snap, hands it to Sinella, fakes a throw like Brett Favre. Sinella runs it off to the right tackle. Very little running room there, and he gains about a half yard at best. Okay, this is going to set up a big third down for the Middletown defense, wanting to get a 3-and-out here and get that ball back. Conversely, Kings, as Joel said, would like to string some first downs together. We think clock management in the first quarter. We're unusual guys here. Oh, yeah. We really are. Something that ought to be considered at all points in time during the football game. Halftime, Winton Woods leads Trotwood Madison 16-0. Okay. Winton Woods is now in the ECC, along with Kings and Turpin and Anderson and all those guys. Milford. 3rd and 6. Shotgun snap. Coker sets his feet. Beautiful throw. Beautiful. Streak pattern. That's number 21, Elijah Jones, who comes down with the catch, and it was just a straight streak from the slot receiver on the right, and Coker planted his feet. He was not moving left. He was not moving right.
He threw a bullet, and Trayvon
back.
Bryant, the receiver, fell down. And he dejectedly walked over and touched him in the back.
And he was already down anyway.
He was down anyway.
1st and 10, Kings. They're across midfield. They are at the Middletown 45-yard line now. Running back goes way out in motion to the right. Pass over the middle to Bauman. Ball is tipped, deflected by the defensive back, Ronan Casanova. Very nice play there to kind of do a little hand fighting and get that ball pried loose and fall harmlessly to the turf.
And if Casanova doesn't make that play, it is a touchdown for Kings.
With the running back going all the way to the left side of the field, Middletown's defensive back's attention was all over there to that side of the field, and it was the middle portion of the field where there were no safeties.
It was a nice choice by the quarterback there. He just underthrew it a little bit, I thought.
Just a little bit.
2nd and 10 here from the 45. Quarterback draw.
Coker
running hard. They're
across.
trying to strip the ball. They are not successful. 1st down.
He's got about 12-yard run there, Dan.
That was impressive.
He just went right back behind his right tackle, got a little block, and knifed his way right through that secondary. Elder is up 21-6 now over Covington Catholic.
Coker's got good size for a quarterback. 6'2". They got him down as 186. I'd have to differ with that. He looks like more of 200 pounds to me. He's a lot thicker in the middle.
1st and 10 Kings. Ball at the Middletown 33-yard line. Handoff to Sinella. Zags. Slips past 2 defenders. Finally knifes his way for about a 7-yard gain before he is finally brought down. Once again, that is Casanova on the eventual stop there, but a 7-yard gain for the Knights. 2nd down and 3. Kings moving the ball well, Dan.
The Knights are definitely rolling here. Middletown needs to make a stop.
Snap, handoff to Snella. Snella breaks a couple more tackles, gets thumped, jacked up. Lamond Chambers. He.
All right.
You want this, Dan? Go ahead.
Sinella's running left. He's stacked up, and then the Middletown player, what was his name?
The Middletown player was Chambers.
Chambers literally body slammed him backwards. When he hit the ground, boom.
He lifted his legs off the ground. The helmet flew off on the
helmet flew off, and as John Madden would say, good thing there wasn't a head in it.
3rd down and inches, and Danny's favorite play of the quarterback sneak under center, and it looks like Coker might have enough yardage.
He got it.
Referees have not made the official signal yet.
Now
there
they do.
Yep.
Yeah, Snella had to go off the field because,
the helmet popped off.
If your helmet pops off, you got to leave the field. Right. I never understood that rule, but okay.
It's maybe to encourage people to tighten their chin straps, I think.
Okay.
Whitten Woods now up 18-0 after the 2nd safety of the game against
Charlie he's Madison. Wide open in the flat, but he overthrew him.
The pass was intended for Jay Halubetz. He was running a bit of a streak and stop pattern on the right sideline.
He was near the 4-yard line when he went up to catch the ball. He got contact by the secondary, got knocked out of bounds. Even if he would have caught it, Joel, I don't think it would have come in bounds.
I think that might have been Lamont Chambers again on the contact there on that play.
He is tough.
He's been involved in a lot of plays defensively for the Middies. We're down to 8:11 left to go in the 3rd quarter of play.
This is quite a drive.
2nd down for Kings at the Middletown 22-yard line, just outside the red zone. Quick little pattern out to the left sideline, and it was absolutely dropped by Nate Lyman, who slaps his own head in disgust after the ball hits his hands.
Well, he knows he had a helmet on, so he can bang his own helmet, right?
That's why God gave you fingers. That's what he's thinking right now in his head as he goes back to the huddle. 3rd down and 10.
I would say they're definitely in field goal range. Let's see if it's an incomplete pass. That'll be really interesting to see what they do. But we'll see what happens.
Ryan Stilsky is the kicker, but he's not on the field yet, and we're actually going to have a timeout. I don't think Kings like the play they had called, and so we're going to take it with them. We have 8 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter of play. Kings Knights just outside the red zone with a crucial 3rd down, leading the Middies 21-6.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And who knows, you may be the next featured face.
Let's go to the plate first.
Big third down here at Barnett Stadium. The Kings Knights have come back off the sideline. They've got trips receivers to the right side of the formation. It's 3rd and 10 at the Middletown 22-yard line on the very outskirts of Ryan Stilsky's field goal range.
I like.
Blitz coming. Coker's got a man in the end zone. Halyabetz comes down with it, and it is a touchdown on a busted coverage.
There's a flag in the backfield now. I'm thinking it's roughing the quarterback. I do not think it's holding. We'll see what. It's a big call here.
Middletown. Oh, this might be a hold. Referee turned to the Kings coach and made a little gesture like it was.
It is holding.
And
it's
is
coming
a
back.
Penalty. Wow.
Took a touchdown off the board.
Well, here's what happened on that play. Middletown sent a free blitzer. The offensive lineman got underneath him and just basically twirled him just to the side enough, and it was deemed holding by the referee behind the play, the one with the white hat. It gave Coker just enough time to slide step and then kind of throw across his body. Once again, it was the center of the secondary. With all this pressure the Kings is putting on the outside, it's the deep center that was left open on the busted coverage, but it all goes for naught. 10-yard penalty, and this is once again called from in the backfield where the hold happened. The hold was 9 yards in the backfield. Add 10 more yards to the 9 yards in the backfield.
So that's a 19-yard penalty.
19 yards in effect for this penalty. You go from a 3rd and 10 at the 22-yard line to, wow, a 3rd and
30
from the 42-yard line. And now Kings
Quick
is not
kick.
in the field goal
Quick
range.
kick.
Quick kick on 3rd down. Yeah. Middletown's thinking, we're not the only ones that commit a penalty at an inopportune moment. Coker scrambles left, throws it deep. No one home, overthrew his intended receiver, Andy Bauman, on the play.
He was running left, and he did not set his feet, and he threw it across his body and overthrew it.
Yep, 4th down and 30, and we've gone from Stilsky's field goal range to a clear punting situation for Carson Caudell.
So in case you guys don't know, we are both Baden graduates, and Joel has some interesting news that he wants to share.
Well, we were talking during the break about Kumler Field and how Baden is, now not playing at Virgil Schwarm and now playing at Edgewood. Edgewood was very, very gracious to open their field to Baden during the pandemic last year when nobody else wanted to host those games.
Right.
Here's the punt for Caudell, and
He shanked it. He shanked it.
Off the right side of his foot. He coffin corners it to the 30-yard line.
Okay, so the ball was on the 4, so it's a 12-yard punt.
12-yard punt. Not exactly what you want there.
Middletown is happy, though.
Didn't even get all the penalty yards back on that punt.
No, they did.
Yeah. So apparently on the west side of Hamilton by the old Champion Paper Mill, it's been bought up by a company in Pennsylvania called Spooky Nook.
Okay.
N-O-O-K. And I believe they are attempting to have some sort of sports complex. It's a business of some sort, a private business. And one of the things that they are planning on building into this complex is a full high school-sized football field.
Interesting.
It sounds like Baden is going to be back on the west side of Hamilton, potentially renting Spooky Nook.
Like the old Taft days.
This may even be an indoor facility, which would give Baden the only domed field in the GCL. It is possible. I don't have official confirmation of that, but it is a possibility being talked about. We shall see what that means for the Baden Rams.
Can you imagine a Spooky Nook game on October 31st? That would be great, wouldn't it? What a theme.
It'd be a playoff game now that they moved the season up.
That's right.
Jalen Dillard takes the first handoff here on 1st down, right back into the line of scrimmage and gets nothing as he gets met by the interior wall of the Kings defensive line. Kai Brown there, the big nose tackle, makes the tackle, and it is 2nd down and 10 for the Middies. Down to 7 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. It is 21-6. Middletown hanging in there.
They're hanging in there.
Audible being called by the offensive coordinator or the coach there on the sideline, college style. The skill players all freeze and look over at the coaching staff. Dillard is the running back. Pass out to the flat. That is to J.C. Calhoun. He's got a little bit of space. wrapped up just before he really fully broke it.
Like the play call there. He got him in space, just like we said they have the athletes to get in space.
Well, when you have trips wide receivers, you throw to one of them standing stationary and you use the other two as lead blockers. Punch is about 7 yards out ahead there. It's going to be 3rd and 3 for the Middies at their own 36-yard line. Now the trips receivers on the left side of the formation as the ball is closer.
Same
to the
play,
right
opposite
hash.
side. What do you think, Joel?
Let's see if it happens. Looks like it's a read option instead. Davis keeps it after faking the handoff to Dillard. And he's going to get about a yard. It's going to be 4th and 2, and you wonder for Don Simpson.
Why that play call?
Well,
not a fan of that.
I don't wonder about the play call quite as much as I wonder, do you punt it here because you're inside your own 40 still, or do you look at how little time you have left to go?
There you go, Joel. They're going for
4th and 2. Big opportunity here. Kings is going to send a rush in. Almost jumped off sides.
Wow.
That was Hunter Jones. He nearly went into the neutral zone, which would have been an automatic flag, but he just held himself up, used his defensive lineman to prop himself up and avoid that.
I think.
Play clock down to 8. Man in motion. Here's the snap. Toss sweep to Dillard. He's got one tackle.
He breaks a tackle, but he doesn't break the second.
Luke Lynch.
So Kings will get the ball over on downs, Joel. That was a big play there.
I like the aggression. You
I
got to try
do.
to do something to break this game open a little bit. It's not going to do you any good to trade punts with Kings the rest of the game. You need.
That's true.
Didn't work. Sometimes the right play call doesn't exactly work. Dillard did break one tackle, but that was a wonderful defensive play.
I missed
there
the
by
quick
Luke
slants
Lynch.
over the middle. Just shoot them down, cut. How can you stop it?
Both of these offenses.
They're all thrown wide.
They've been putting so much pressure on the outsides.
Yeah.
That it really, truly, I think you're right. Those little dump-offs over the middle to where a tight end would be, or maybe a 5th wide receiver or running back on a little arrow pattern.
Yeah.
It's open.
Oh, yeah.
It's been there a lot of the game.
Yeah.
Both of Kings' touchdown passes, the one they had and the one that got taken off the board, were both over the top in the middle.
That's correct.
Coker hands the ball off to Halyabitz. Spins. Breaks through a tackle and finally brought down by James Franklin, but not until he gained 7 yards on the play.
He looked like Dave Meggett on that play, if you
I
remember
remember
that.
Dave Meggett.
Oh, man. He was tough.
See what, a Patriot and a Giant?
That's correct.
Oh, my gosh.
Look at that little Meggett run.
Meggett. 2nd down and 3, and a timeout, it looks like, coming from the Middletown coaching staff. Actually, no, not from the Middletown coaching staff. The referee blows the whistle, points at himself. That means it's an injury or a referee's timeout.
Well, Middletown, yeah, there's an injury right there on the field, Joel. I was counting the players, and there was 10, but I didn't realize that number 5 from Middletown, the middies there, that would be Lamont Chambers. He's down, and he's
cramping.
Yeah, he's cramping.
They're doing the old put the leg up in the air, hold the shoe, and crank the foot backwards thing.
Oh.
It is a warm and muggy night. This is the time of year where Dick Ballard over on WMOH is always talking about drinking pickle juice to avoid the cramps.
Pickle
He
juice.
says he always made his players do that at Ross. He said it works.
Well, you got a lot of salt in pickle juice.
Says it tastes like crap, but do you want a cramp or not? You know.
That was pre-Gatorade, I guess.
the Ballard Farms pickle juice. Yes.
Oh, my.
So Chambers lies down there on the ground. Division 7 score of interest to New Miami fans out there. Fort Loramie in New Miami's region leads Minster, who's a very quality opponent, 34-7 in the third quarter. Loramie is for real and looking to challenge Marion Local. Hamilton High School has come all the way back. They were down 28-7. They now lead 29-28 over the West Claremont Wolves out there in Amelia.
So they might have went for 2 there to get the lead. I like that.
I kind of think they might have. That sounds like a very Nate Mahan thing to do. GWalk score that affects Middletown. The Wayne Warriors lead Dunbar 34-0 at halftime. Looks like Wayne is off to a good start for their season early on.
Wayne always has great quarterbacks. You know that?
Oh, yeah.
They always do.
Miamisburg is now up 14-7. They also are a GWalk team that is there that Middletown will be competing with to try to get that playoff spot scratched out there. Marion Local now leads Wapakoneta 16-0 in that game up at Harmon Field. Very good news for our Division III teams, Baden, Ross, and Monroe. you don't want Wapakoneta hanging around there on those top 4 lines. Top 4 seeds not only get a home game this year, but have the chance to actually have a second home game. And when you look at where some of those bus rides could be,
Yes.
St. Mary's, Wapakoneta, you'd
Ooh.
like to avoid a bus ride of that type of length if at all possible.
No doubt.
We have the seesaw game that goes back and forth between Ross and Wilmington. The Hurricane is now back on top, 24-20 over the Ross Rams.
They're
still
rocking them like a hurricane.
They are. That's still early in the third quarter in that game. It's wonderful to be able to just kind of have Twitter and see all of these scores just sent to you.
This is the worst cramp I've ever seen. He's up now, but he can't hardly walk.
Oh, he's working like a little old man.
He looks like.
Oh, he's going to get help.
Oh, my goodness. He is totally cramped up both legs.
Both legs. That's
He's
what it
walking
is.
like Tim Conway. Now they're carrying him off the field. I hope he's okay. I hope it's just cramps.
It's got to be just cramps. I mean, the way they were treated.
It's like Tim Conway on the Carol Burnett show when he was shuffling his legs.
St. Mary's Memorial is just taking the lead over London. The Memorial Rough Riders lead the Red Raiders 10-7 in that game at the end of the third quarter. Obviously, the Baden, Ross, and Monroes of the world would love to see London pull off that comeback and steal that one back from St. Mary's Memorial. London is also Division III, but they're in the Columbus section.
Back to action here after that long cramp. We got 2nd and 4. Kings with the ball.
That's Halyabits with the handoff.
Halyabits, yes.
And
He's a
Halyabits
little
gets
short of the first down. It's going to set up 3rd and 1.
Kind of a direct handoff right between the center and the guard. We've not seen as much of that in this game with everybody's hurry to kind of attack the outside perimeter of the line.
Kings in a hurry-up offense, Joel.
3rd down and 2. Kind of got a non-generous spot there by the official.
He's a little weak.
This might also be, well, he came up to the line of scrimmage, Coker did, almost as if to simulate that quarterback sneak, and now he's back in the shotgun again and hands off to Halyabits. He needs 2 yards. He's going to lunge for it. He is right at the marker. This will be close.
It looks like they're going to give it to him.
They've not motioned to stop the clock yet.
That's true.
That's the telltale sign. It's going to be a 4th and inches or a first down if they decide to measure it. And they're going to give him a first down.
That's what
And never stop the clock in doing so. That's interesting. I'm surprised they didn't try to measure that first. 1st and 10 for the Knights. That's kind of a critical call there, Danny.
I know. I don't understand why Middletown isn't lobbying for a measurement there. They could do that.
All right, 1st and 10. Ball at the 26-yard line, kept by Coker, the quarterback. Kind of Tecmo bowled that through the middle of the offensive line. A couple weaves and bobs. And
another helmet flies off.
Ends up getting about 5 yards after all of that trouble. He probably ran for about 20 to get that 5. It's Coker, the quarterback.
Yeah, Coker's helmet flew off. So
now
he
have a backup quarterback for a play.
Or maybe a wildcat play.
It looks like Noah Spencer, number 12, the backup quarterback, is out there on the field. End of the third quarter, the Fenwick Falcons lead Franklin 14-0. Both of those are in Division III, Baden and Ross and Monroe's region. 2nd down and 5 for the Knights. Spencer hands the ball off. That's a nice, easy play to call there for your backup quarterback. It's going to be enough for the first down, except a flag is flown in by the umpire.
And that's in the area where you're going to see holding.
Oh, yeah. That was Max Sinella that got the carry. He did get enough for the first down. But
that might be why he got the first down.
It might be. Looks like London just missed a field goal try, so St. Mary's Memorial still leads 10-7 in that game up there. It is a hold, Dan. You are correct. This is going to be a repeat of 2nd down and 10-yard penalty from the spot of the hold.
Kings is saying, that's okay. We'll just have a longer drive, right? Eat more clock.
It looks like that is going to only end up being about a 4-yard penalty because the hold happens 6 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Interesting.
Yep. High school rules different than the NFL that we're used to so much.
In college, too.
And college as well. Yep. Kind of a couple of little quirks with the high school game. Coker is back in now after reattaching his head. Roll out to the right side. Throw back across toward the middle.
He had him open, but he
man.
missed
He was
him.
open. Oh,
Boy, he was wide open.
Jay Halyabits got behind his man. Again, no safety help over the top in the center. All of the focus has been down on the flats and these little slant patterns.
Coker is mad at himself for missing that. He
just
knew he had him.
Overthrew him.
That would have been a game breaker right there.
Would have been nice for the Knights. They're still only up by 2 scores. This game, it's interesting. This game started out pretty aggressive. It's kind of like fallen into quicksand a little bit. You can sense
It really has. You feel like Middletown, it's there for the taking. I mean, 1 score, and they're right in it.
And think of the pressure they could put on Kings if they could get a pick 6 here or some lucky break to go their way.
Even a fumble recovery or something.
I mean, if they can get this thing within 1 score, the Kings Knights are going to start having to really put some pressure plays together.
Kings called a timeout here, Joel, as the play clock got down to 1 second.
Speaking of pressure, they're down to 1 timeout for the rest of the game.
Wow.
We'll come back after this timeout. We'll be right back at Barnett Stadium, 21-6, Kings.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
We got 3rd and 10 coming up.
3rd and 10 coming up indeed. Here we go. Kings has the ball. 3rd and 10 on the outskirts of the red zone. They are at Middletown 26-yard line. You might have 2 plays here.
Yes.
Don't get the first one. Here's the drop back pass. Sliding
He's scrambling.
Over,
He's going to run.
Scrambling to the left. Plants his feet. Throws it way deep over the arms of Halubets. A little bit short for Elijah Jones. 2 receivers in the area there. It falls right down in between them.
He split the goalpost of receivers.
Not exactly catchable for either one. Close.
Let's see what's going on here. I mean,
I can't imagine they're going to punt it from the 26-yard line.
I say you kick the field goal.
You think Stolz's got the leg
They're
for
going to
it?
be up by 18. Absolutely, I do. I've seen him drilling kickoffs in the end zone all game long.
Well, you don't get penalized for a missed field goal nearly as badly. It'd be a touchback at the 20-yard line if it happens.
Yeah, I got to ask you about that rule because
Okay.
I know we need to get clarification
I did
on
get some
that.
clarification last year to playoff game against Finneytown and Madison. Throw on 4th down. Overthrown.
And Middletown with the stop. The coaches are pumped. The fists are flying. They know they just bought themselves some time and some salvation there.
Yeah. Elijah Jones, the intended receiver. They needed 10 yards. Jones ran for 15, stopped, turned around. His man behind him gave him a 5-yard cushion beyond that. It was a very makeable play.
Certainly.
The ball just sailed over his head.
Okay, so you're saying, Joel, in high school football, if you line up from the 40 and you try a 57-yard field goal, if you miss it, the ball will go to the 20-yard line.
That was Dick Ballard's theory until I talked to some referees about this at Madison last year before a playoff game.
Okay.
A missed field goal is a punt in high school football. Handoff to Dillard.
You got to
Towards
clarify
the right
what you mean
side.
there.
I will. He's brought down by the linebacker for Kings, number 42. That's Eli Taylor.
3-yard gain there for Middletown.
Hunter Jones also in on the play late.
Maybe 2.
I was going to say, I think he only got 1. Not a very generous spot by the official. Hurry up for Middletown. We'll get back to the missed field goal thing in a second. We will. I promise you we will.
Okay.
We have Kellen Davis, 3 receivers to the left side of the formation. That's the big side, strong side. And we have a flag. This is going to be a 5-yard penalty. All right, so this field goal situation. A field goal that is missed is a punt in high school football. That means if it goes wide of the goalposts, this is going to be an offsides penalty on Kings, so 5 yards for Middletown, make a 2nd down more manageable. If it goes wide of the goalposts, it's a touchback.
Okay.
The ball will come out to the 20-yard line. If you try the field goal from so far back that the ball doesn't even go inside the 20, it's returnable or comes to rest right over there as a punt.
Okay.
Kellen Davis runs the ball. The quarterback, beanbag comes down from the back judge. That means the ball popped out in the middle of that pile.
Kings is screaming that they have the ball.
They do have the ball. I mean, Nick Hoying is holding the ball, tossing it to the umpire like, I have it. I'm holding the ball. You threw the beanbag.
There's a conference.
Half of the Kings defense is pointing at the direction like we have the ball. Referees are chatting about it right now in between the 2 lines. The back judge is right now telling the referee and the umpire he's the one that threw the beanbag. He saw the ball pop out because he would not have thrown the beanbag had he not seen the ball pop out. And we already know that.
Meanwhile, we have another Middletown player down, cramping up.
That's the quarterback, Kellen Davis.
Oh, goodness.
Referees chat about it and decide to keep the ball with Middletown. Middletown's going to have a third down and really short here, and they're going to have to do it without the quarterback, who is getting medical attention due to cramping right now. So, yes, follow this through for me if you will, Dan.
Okay, so let's be really hokey here.
Really hokey. Go
All
ahead.
right, so let's say they're going to be trying a field goal from their own 40. So that would be a 70. 70-yard field goal with the 10. 70 yards. Let's say he kicks it, and it only gets to the 20-yard line.
Right.
So we thought that means the ball.
You're giving a bad example because we thought it would go to the 20 anyway.
Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and say it only goes 20 yards to the other 40.
Okay.
Okay? It comes to rest there.
Right.
Nobody returns it. It is a live ball and it is returnable at that point in time.
Right.
By the defense. If the defense doesn't touch it, the offense can pick it up and it is downed like a punt.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
It's basically a punt with a hold, a placeholder.
Yeah, because that would be like a Bill Belichick play there. You know, he would find a way to utilize that, you know.
Back in the action, we do have a Wildcat formation with J.C. Calhoun and a generous review, I guess, by the referees. They decided to give the first down spot after all to Middletown.
Wow.
It was third down when they both went out off of the field to talk about what play to run. They came back on the field and saw the down marker as 1, and the sticks had been moved up.
Okay.
So second down and 8 after that.
We are under a minute to
run.
go here in the third quarter, so
J.C. Calhoun taking quarterback snaps.
I
as
think
a wide
Middletown,
receiver.
sorry to talk over
Go
there.
ahead.
I think Middletown at this point, this is 4-down territory. They need 2 scores.
Well, the only problem is you don't have your quarterback in the game.
That's
That
true.
really limits your playbook you can call. J.C. Calhoun keeps it. Now, he is fast.
He is fast. He breaks a tackle.
Bounces off a second guy. Aiden Guckenberger gets the better end of that hit. And out of bounds goes J.C. Calhoun. They may not end up throwing the ball the rest of this game. This may be speed lightning running the ball, Dan.
Yes, yes.
Runs out of bounds. That will stop the clock, not just for the first down, but permanently until the ball is snapped again. 31 seconds remain in the third quarter. Middletown is across midfield. They've not been there in a while.
No, they haven't.
Ball moving. J.C. Calhoun trying to get something going for the Middies offense. A little spark, and you can see it.
Oh, he fumbled the snap.
I think he caught that ball 3 times.
And despite all that, he still got 4 yards on the run.
He's a slippery little sucker, isn't he, Dan?
Yes, he is.
He's got some speed. He's got a little extra bounce in his step. He's not played all the downs. So
I honestly think Kings are like, they're confused here. They don't know how to defend this.
It's a little bit of a different type of attack there. You're not worried about the pass as much, but it's a lot more of a scat back than a power back. We have reached the end of the fourth quarter.
Third.
Sorry, thank you very much, Dan. The fourth quarter is ready to start here at Barnett Stadium. It is 21-6. Kings Knights. We'll be right back.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Over in Wilmington at Bengals training camp, the Ross Rams have retaken the lead in that seesaw battle. It's the Rams 27 and Hurricane 24.
Wilmington does have air conditioning in their dorms now, by the way.
That's good. That's good.
Yes.
Baden has just gone to the fourth quarter with a 20-7 lead over Mount Healthy, and Bitterick has just punted the ball coffin corner style to the 3-yard line.
I love it.
For
I
Mount
love
Healthy
it.
Owls, a long way to go
It's
there.
a lost start.
All right, starting the fourth quarter here at Barnett's. And Davis is back on the field. Hands the ball off.
And there is nothing
to a
happening.
player with no number. I think his number got torn off the back of his jersey. Oh, the front of his jersey's got a number.
Wow.
That is number 3, Jalen Dillard. And if you look at the back of his jersey when he turns around, Dan. Oh, no.
Oh, there
he's got
it
the
is.
3 there, too.
Wow.
Somehow that number got obscured in the middle of that Kings pile. It's interesting. Middletown was finally moving the ball with J.C. Calhoun running the offense, and now that the quarterback is able to go back out there, Kellen Davis, they are using Kellen Davis. 3rd and 8, maybe 9.
11:20 to go.
Across midfield at the 48-yard line. Davis has 4 wide receivers, and Dillard is the running back alongside of him. Dillard
Safety blitz.
Crossing route.
Oh,
is
my
absolutely
goodness.
dropped by James Franklin. He has got to feel sick about that.
Yes, he does, because he had running room in front of him, Joel. My goodness.
Shallow crossing route. He was hit perfectly in stride. If he comes down with that ball without falling down, he's at least got the first down.
Certainly.
And maybe a lot more because he can run. 4th down and 8, and Middletown is going to have to punt.
Why do they have to punt? I don't get this. Okay.
Well, I don't think they like their odds on 4th and 8. And maybe they think they got enough time for 2 more possessions. There's 11:07 left to go. Kings hasn't done much offensively.
No, they haven't. You're right.
Yeah. You know, at some point in time, it becomes a gamble. It's a fake.
It is a
It's
fake.
Calhoun, he's not going to have any prayer on this.
Oh, he got
gets
crushed.
absolutely blown up.
He was blown
He
up.
never even made it back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, there's your trick play.
Gavin Legault.
Legault did not let him go anywhere.
Lego, my fake punt ego. Danny, you wanted a trick play earlier, right?
That didn't fool him, did it?
It did not fool them one bit.
I would like just a conventional pass there. I mean, the game's kind of on the line.
Well,
in
it's
this
strange
situation.
in a way because Calhoun was the backup quarterback that came in. He got them a spark. They then took him out of the game at the start of the 4th quarter when Davis could come back in, and it bogged their offense down.
Yeah.
Calhoun wasn't the thrower. He was the runner. So now you got him back 20 yards in a punt formation instead of 5 in a shotgun formation.
Quarterback draw.
Fakes Coker. And Kings, of course, has very good field position. The tackle was made by Trayvon Bryant. And that is going to be about a 5-yard gain for Coker as he just kind of very patiently plods, maybe 6-yard gain up the middle. It's going to be a 2nd down and 4 for the Knights.
It's interesting that Kings here is. I'm thinking they should milk clock. They're still 18 seconds on the play clock. We'll see what they do with this.
All right, 2nd down.
Got the snap with 11 full seconds. Oh, straight
Hand
up the middle.
And still running, breaking a couple of tackles.
Wow.
That's Max Sanella. And Sanella has just put the Kings Knights on the doorstep of the red zone.
Certainly.
Big run up the middle.
Big run. That was 25 yards.
Ball spotted at the, he might actually be inside the red zone. It might be at the 19-yard line.
He is at the 19.
How about that? Kings now all of a sudden ready to burst this game wide open after the fake punt. That did not work. 1st and 10, Kings. Ball at the 19 going into the red zone.
Fake to Sanella.
Coker keeps the ball on the quarterback option. Runs the ball about 4 yards upfield.
That's really what they
game.
want. They really want just to keep the ball and keep the clock going. We're down to 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the game.
This is very much to Kings' purpose.
Absolutely.
Even a field goal makes this a 3-score game for the Knights. Ball spotted at the, looks like 16 and a half. 2nd and about 7. Long 7. And we'll see the Knights now have 3 receivers, trips formation over to the right side. That's the ball on the left hash mark. That's the wide side of the field.
And they snapped the ball with still 10 seconds to go on the play clock. So they've lost 22 seconds of clock time in the last 2 plays.
Sanella took that handoff, stopped for absolutely no gain. In fact, he lost about 3 yards and is back to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd and 10 now from the 19-yard line for the Knights. They're getting time off the clock, but you're right, Dan, they're not getting as much as they could. Shotgun formation, Sanella, the running back alongside Coker.
12 seconds on the clock.
Scramble right, throw, Bauman.
Incomplete.
Can't quite reach it. Slides and toboggans down around the 8-yard line going out toward the out-of-bounds line.
Look, we got a field goal coming up here, Joel. This is a huge play for Middletown especially. They don't want to be down by 3 scores.
This
You're
is going to be
correct.
Ryan Stilsky going to come on to try to attempt this.
On his kickoffs, he's been awesome. So this is only going to be a 25-yard field goal. It's going to be from the left hash.
Looks like it's going to be about a 36-yard attempt. And yeah,
36.
It's a harsh angle.
36.
It
Sorry
is
about
a
that.
harsh angle. Ball is up. He got a leg into it.
It is good.
That is
a
great field goal.
That would have been good from 45, Joel.
How about it? The Kings Knights take a 24-6 lead at Barnett's. We'll be right back after this message.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And who knows, you may be the next featured face.
$8:25 to go in the ball game. A critical kick for Kings. 36-yard field goal puts them up 24-6. Things are not looking good for the Middletown Middies right now.
That was a very big field goal. Not the easiest one in the world either. From 36
No, it
yards
wasn't.
out from a difficult angle.
High towering kick, too. It wasn't a
a
low
lot of
line
leg.
drive. It was a towering kick.
Stilsky's kickoff hits the ground in the end zone about 9 yards deep. You think he's pumped?
He is pumped.
How about it? Centerville leads Fairfield by a score of 21-17 right now. Ross back over top of Wilmington, 34-31 as they go back and forth
Wow.
and back and forth all game. The Elida Bulldogs at Kraft Memorial Stadium. They're up 7-0 against Spencerville tonight. We saw them play Monroe in the first round of the playoffs last year on that beautiful Rose Bowl type of turf grass
Oh, yes.
at Elida. How about it? Looks like Baden Rams are now up 27-7. And Eric Hickey is reporting the offense has been a little off, but the defense looks like it has not lost a step
Beautiful.
from last year. Slant route.
Almost picked off.
Two receivers in the same area. That was Franklin and J.C. Calhoun.
Nick Hoying, the linebacker, almost with the deflection off the interception for Kings.
He's the one that basically thought he recovered a fumble on the previous drive. Ross has scored again, Danny. It's 41-31 Rams.
Wow.
Nobody playing any defense out there at Bengals training camp.
I'll tell you, right, that's kind of realistic. The Bengals don't either.
There it is. 2nd and 10 for the Middies. Davis takes the handoff.
It's a jet sweep.
Gives it over to Dillard. Runs out of bounds.
Almost a horse collar, but he let go smartly.
Actually, the knee hit just before he crossed out of bounds, which means
Wow.
the clock will continue to run. That's a bad break for Middletown there.
That's a very bad break.
We're down below 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
3rd and 10.
Middies look improved from last year, Dan.
Oh, they certainly do. I think their defense, despite the fact that they've given up 24 points, they were put in bad situations by offensive mistakes.
Swing pass.
Oh, nice hit.
Intended for Jalen Dillard. He hit it perfectly in stride, but got blasted by a defensive back who actually got the worst of that hit.
Jake Cameron. Well, he started cramping up once he hit the ground. See him? He's kind of limping going off the
If
field.
you remember, Jake Cameron was the one that was down badly, it looked like, right at halftime as everybody else
Yeah,
left.
he's limping.
He's limping again off the
It's a
field.
cramped night. It's probably humid out there.
You need the pickle juice, apparently, right? Got to have the pickle juice.
Salt tablets. That's before your time.
Final score at Covcath and Elder. The Panthers over the Colonels, 28-6. That game is final now for the Elder Panthers, 1-0 on the season. Ball punted, stays in bounds, and finally rolls dead about the 49, 48-yard line. DeAndre Goodson downs that for the Middies. So Kings will come out. Once again, they will start another drive, Dan, on the Middletown half of the field.
It seems like they have definitely won the field management aspect of the game, I'll tell you.
Field position has been hard to come by for Middletown. They have the
It really
65-yard
has.
pass play. That's about the only thing that's really flipped it all game long. Very slow and patient burn for Kings. It's not been anything all that flashy.
But Middletown has looked sharp in their throwback uniforms. I will give them that.
Well, it kind of reminds you of an old Baden-Terry Malone game against like a Withrow or something like that, where you get the speed guys on the other team that can burst and kill you for a play or two.
Absolutely.
But then the very patient, disciplined approach. Kings on a spread offense.
Tried a quarterback draw. He's breaking tackles.
Coker broke a couple tackles.
Nice.
That looked like it was going to be a 2-yard loss. It ends up being a 13-yard gain, Dan.
Wow.
That was Will Coker.
Coker is tough. And, when you see a quarterback take a hit like that and just hop right up, I think, God, my season's going to rely on this guy. Maybe I put the backup in here, up 18 with 7 minutes to go, but he's still out there.
I'm sure Noah Spencer would like a little extra playing time as well, sitting on the other sideline. Yeah, put me in, Coach. I'm ready.
That's right.
Coker takes the snap.
Draw
Lay
play.
draw. Sannell.
Spinning and breaking tackles.
And Max Sannella ends up, again, a play that looks like it's going to get no yardage, ends up getting 5. Fighting hard.
You think there's a conditioning thing here? Do you think maybe Kings is holding up better? I mean, it's been a hot night. Look at.
Has Kings had much cramping going on? It seems like it's the Middletown players that have had the worst of the cramping issue.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm watching Trayvon Bryant from Middletown, who's had a whale of a night, and he's limping as he walks around in the backfield.
Trying to fight off those cramps.
He is.
It's hot. It is hot. It is humid. It is muggy out here.
Well,
and
you
now
said
Coker is letting the play clock drain down to 5 seconds.
He's getting smart.
He keeps the ball on the read option, runs right.
He's a little short of the first down marker here.
Pushes his way up another 5 yards or so, and it's going to be a 3rd and short for Kings. And they got 2 shots at this one as the clock continues to wind down below 6 minutes left here at Chris Carter Field, Middletown's Barnett's Stadium. Joel Sackenheim, Dr. Dan Vogt, pleased to have you here with us on the Buckeye
Chris
County
Carter
Sports
Field,
Report.
yes, the Buckeye, number 2 at Ohio State. Unusual number for a wide receiver back then.
It's going to get less unusual now, isn't it?
Oh, in the NFL, they opened up the door. You're going to see single-digit linebackers. That's going
to be strange.
Very strange.
Coker keeps it on 3rd and 1. He's going to get it on the read option.
Nice.
Lunges ahead to the 22-yard line. Tackled by Middletown. That would be Christian Printup for the Middies coming up with the tackle, but it's too little too late. It's a 1st and 10 for the Knights, just on the outskirts of the red zone.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if it was Ty Stolsky last year just dominating the game or if Kings was that much better, but this game is a closer game. I mean, 24-6 doesn't sound like it, but, Middletown has hung with them pretty much the whole game. The field goal took the winds out of their sails. You can tell that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it gets to the point where you can see the wave is coming.
Yeah.
Down below 5 on the play clock again. The handoff goes to Sannella up the middle. I particularly enjoy watching Will Coker hand the ball off and then fake like he's going to throw the ball to a wide receiver.
Yeah, you described it as the Brett Favre throw.
He was the first one I ever saw do that.
I'm trying to think who else I saw do that. I think Favre did it with the most flash, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He got a big old smile on his face.
See, I as a Lions fan, Green Bay has just been awesome. I mean, they went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Now, I respect Favre. I love Favre. Rodgers, you ever listen to that guy talk? Oh, my God. He just said today that if he would have been selected Jeopardy host, he would not be playing football.
Yeah, he's
so
lying.
I wonder what kind of money that job makes.
Coker's got a couple blocks, runs the ball over the right side, ends up getting tackled out of bounds. He's inside the 10-yard line. That's going to be enough for a 1st and goal, looks like.
I know Rodgers is a good quarterback, but he just comes across to me as kind of arrogant.
Little bit?
Little bit, yeah.
They drafted my replacement. I don't want to play anymore. I'm going to take my ball and go home. That?
Yeah, that.
That, okay.
Yeah, I'd hate to be Jordan Love. I really would.
Yeah, Jordan Love this year's a pretty good gig. So it was
Yeah.
the same with last year. You get paid a lot of money to sit there and learn how to play quarterback.
That's true.
And you know what? Nobody knew if Aaron Rodgers was going to be Aaron Rodgers back when Favre was throwing for 3 years.
That's why he lasted to, pick 30?
No one knew. So Jordan Love may very well be good. It's 1st and 10. They spotted him just outside the 10-yard line. Once again, Coker's going to run it, and he's going to take that one in. And that is a touchdown for Will Coker. 11-yard touchdown run, and Kings is now opening up a little bit on the middies. And flags coming in late.
Oh.
Coker got double hit on his way into the end zone. It didn't look dirty. It looked like three bodies were kind of colliding all there right at the goal line. It was not exactly determined that Coker was.
I don't think it was dirty. I just think Middletown was probably a little aggressive, but I wouldn't call it a dirty play.
A little frustrated there.
Frustrated. That's
they
good.
were so much closer in this game than the score is going up here at the end.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's an 11-yard touchdown run for Will Coker.
I think Middletown's defense, despite the 31 points, I think they're leaps and bounds better than last year in the game that they played Kings. But I do think their offense, it's just not there.
You're going to see some adjustments, I'm sure, as John Simpson
Yeah.
installs more of the playbook and figures out what works and what doesn't work. I'm wondering if Middletown is going to end up with a J.C. Calhoun package. That looked pretty good from the little bit that we had.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Like the Miami Dolphins used to run back with brain cramp.
Looks like the personal foul is going to be called on Kings in the end zone. Probably some offensive lineman that was not thrilled to see Coker take that shot at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Shot as it was. Probably came in there to defend his quarterback there against one of those middies. And so there's going to be a 15-yard penalty enforced on the kickoff.
Okay.
Stilsky's going to attempt the extra point here. We're down to 3:51 left to go in this ball game. And the whistle blows.
It's getting messy.
And there's a flag. It's going to be offsides, one of the Middletown players. Christian Printup was back there in the backfield with the kicker, and he's kind of got his hands up in the air at the referee like, was it me? Was it somebody else? But this is going to be about half the distance to the goal. And so Kings, the backup quarterback, is the holder. Noah Spencer is going to move the kicking tee up about 1.5 yards, and they're going to try a little shorter version of the point after try. Stilsky's lined up and ready. Spencer's ready to take the snap. Snap is made. Hold is down. Kick is up. Kick is good. And so we have reached 3:51 left to go in this ball game at Barnett Stadium. The Kings Knights in command, 31-6 over Middletown.
Hey, sports fan! Did you know the OHSAA is among the national leaders in social media? Check out the OHSAA's social media platforms for news, tournament information, accomplishments, helpful links, and all the items available in the fan guide, including photos, DVDs, and publications. Check out OHSAA Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. And who knows, you may be the next featured face.
You asked about scores here and updates for
Yes.
other games. It looks like Ross at the end of the third quarter is still up 41-31 over the Wilmington Hurricane. Baden Rams still up 27-7.
Okay.
Looks like Eric Hickey's reporting. He's got to check his numbers, but he believes the Mount Healthy Owls have only 2 first downs in the second half of that game.
Wow.
So Baden's defense really showing up to play in the second half of that one. Centerville is now up over Fairfield 24-17. They're down to 9 minutes left to go in the game. Looks like Cleveland St. Ignatius is leading Springfield 20-10. That's good news for Middletown.
Yes.
Springfield is one of those GWAC teams that's in Middletown's region. Cleveland St. Ignatius obviously is not. Stilsky's got the ball down at the 25-yard line to kick off after the personal foul penalty. Short pooch kick. This is an onside kick potentially, and Kings has recovered it. Oh my goodness.
I think, honestly, Middletown thought the ball was going to go out of bounds. And they just stood there looking at it.
I think that looked like it was Paul Kelly possibly on the special teams unit running down the field. Stilsky was not going to kick through the back of the end zone on this one with the 15 extra yards on the kick, so we just pooched it up in the air.
Oh, Middletown is dejected right now.
Oh, my goodness. The ball hit down right across midfield around Middletown's 45-yard line. Only one middie in the area. Didn't see it. I think you're right, Dan. Thought the ball might have just gone out of bounds anyway. And streaking down the sidelines goes the Kings gunman, comes down with the ball before it goes out of bounds, and the Knights have it at the Middletown 40-yard line with 3:50 left to go.
And they, you think of the Middletown defense. They're tired. They're hot.
They fought hard.
They fought hard, and they're back on the field.
Baden game has gone final, by the way, 27-7.
Okay.
Rams over Mount Healthy. Handoff up the middle, Sanella, and you can just see the air is out of the balloon of the Middletown defense.
Yes.
That was a run that would have got about 5 yards in the first half.
And that got 25 there, Joel. They're inside the red zone, Joel.
Man. Yeah, Sanella's, these are the garbage time stats you get in fantasy football when you have the little momentum going and you're running back and your offensive linemen now have that little wind in their sails and they're moving the people around.
I would like to know how many high school fantasy football leagues there are. That would be phenomenal, wouldn't it? Good Lord.
Oh, my goodness.
That would be taking your fantasy football seriously.
Take Ross and Anderson games. Lots of points. Coker's
running
hands off
hard.
Up the middle. And again, falls forward. That would have been about a 3-yard gain in the first half. It's about an 8-yard gain now.
The over-under on this game, Joel, 39.5. Right now, it's 37. I'm sorry. Yeah, so for you Vegas bettors out there.
39.5, huh?
Sure. It sounded good, didn't it?
Sounded good. Got to have the hook in there. That's right. The hook brings you back. Elida wins 7-0 over Spencerville. That game has gone final.
Okay.
St. X is up 24-14 over Lakota West. That game is still going on. Coker takes the snap. Hands off. Sanella fakes.
Good job.
Around. A nice, solid, fundamental wrap-up tackle there by J.J. Lewis. Good for him. That was excellent.
I'm not questioning King's sportsmanship. Their coach is a class act. We had a good talk. I guess he just wants his players to get reps right now.
Well, that's right. Well, you're running the football. You can't just end the game. You got to finish it off.
I was just thinking, I always think of the backups. Getting them in here would be a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Marion Local now up 31-6 over Wapakoneta.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
Snap. Coker runs left.
He gets hit hard.
I think he might have enough for the first down. If it is, it'll be first and goal, and that's exactly the way that the referees are signaling it. Clock is going to be paused momentarily. 1:47 left. Kings could decide to take knees here if they wanted to.
I think we're going to see that, the way they're crowding together. I think
see,
you're right.
Middletown's got all 3 timeouts, but there's no need to take them.
Very, very class move here by Kings. Like I said, their coach was
formation.
class before the game, and you're seeing it here.
I like it.
I like it too.
Coker's going to let the clock run all the way down.
The people with the 39.5 don't like it. But
it's a bad beat.
Yeah. The under wins.
The under wins, and here is your kneel-down play for Coker. Clock is down to 1:12. Well,
Joel,
good start.
I enjoyed it, Joel. This is always fun. We don't see the masks this year. It's feeling more normal every day.
That's nice.
It's very nice.
It's nice to see human faces again, I got to say.
Yes, it is.
You and I didn't. I mean, we had to wear masks last year just to get into the stadium, and then we could take it off to call the game, of course. Which is,
Well, you don't want to go.
Charlie Brown and Charlie Brown's teacher live on the call. I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't get that. Here's the second kneel-down play.
If Joe Buck wore a mask, I really wouldn't mind. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
No, I've actually grown to respect Joe Buck over the years.
He also hosted Jeopardy just recently.
Did he really?
He did.
I did not know that.
I think he was about the last guest host.
Final snap. We're counting it down here. We're down to 20 seconds, and both teams are leaving the field.
Game clock has 15 seconds. Play clock has 20, so another snap will not be required.
They're lining up for the handshakes at the end of the game. It's always nice to see that.
And the Kings Knights are going to pick up where they left off last year, a 31-6 victory. Solid. Convincing enough, but solid more than anything else.
Very solid. Very solid.
We'll be right back to wrap this thing up from Barnett Stadium.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
All right, wrapping things up here at Barnett Stadium, Chris Carter Field. Danny?
Yes, sir.
Middletown, what do you think?
I think Middletown's going to grow. They're certainly going to be better than last year's 1-6 team. They managed to win last year against a rather poor Walnut Hills team. So 1-6, 0-7. You know, I think they're growing. I think you're going to see, you know, with the expanded playoffs, there's a shot that they're going to get in there. They only have to be, you know, the top 14 out of 16 teams in
16
there.
out of 18, yeah. It's not going to be.
So I think the future's looking better for Middletown football, definitely on the defensive side. You wouldn't know that with the score being 31-6, but there were some offensive errors at the beginning that set Kings up with short fields, and that was kind of the difference.
I think Middletown's going to sit there and film study tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And they're going to have about 5 to 10 plays that they're going to look at and circle. And they're going to say, if we can change the outcome of these 5, 8, 10 plays,
sure,
it's an entirely different score coming down the stretch.
Well, it's certainly not going to be a rout. It really wasn't a rout until the last 3-4 minutes of the game. It was 21-6. And
for most of the second half.
Yeah, and Kings hit the clutch field goal there. Kind of took the air out of the sails of Middletown.
Absolutely. Turnovers, penalties, those are things to work on.
Sure.
Things to get better at. And Kings, they're off to a good start.
Yes, they are. They seem to have their program rolling right off the bat here in week 1.
I think when I look at what Kings is doing, I know they don't have Ty Stilsky anymore, who was their stud last year, and they're making it up by committee. But I think of Mufasa from The Lion King, remember who you are.
Yes.
And I think Kings does remember who they are. I think they know exactly who they are. I think they know exactly what they want to try to do and how they want to try to attack the other team. And all they did tonight was just simply come here and do it.
That's right.
So 1 game in the books.
That's right.
9 more weeks plus playoffs still to come. It's high school football season. For the good dentist, Dr. Dan Vogt.
For Joel, the man with soul.
For Chris Vogt, Joey Vogt, all the other Butler County high school sports reporters, this is Joel Sackenheim saying good night from Barnett Stadium. It's Kings 31 and Middletown 6.
Good night, everybody.